What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 5p. Chapter 81 Ping a cut everything, target Zephyr. Advertise here. Moria and Hawkeye confront each other, swords drawn. While Su Mu was lying on the side watching a play, Monet also thoughtfully massaged Su Mu and fed fruit. Moria is like a little giant. Non-mainstream dress, doll-like dress, a pair of long hands, almost no legs, a ball-like belly, and heavy makeup, giving people a scary feeling. If it is an ordinary pirate, I am afraid that I will be scared out of my wits right away. But is Hawkeye an ordinary person? Compared with him, besides 4 emperors and marine admiral, who will he lose? He Dao Yi hummed in his hand, as if extremely excited that its master was about to start fighting again. Scatter the bats. Moria suddenly launched an attack, and her own shadow directly disintegrated into countless shadow bats, attacking Hawkeye. In this regard, Hawkeye slashed away, and the huge slash directly cut those bats in half. However, the next moment, those bats recovered and continued to rush towards Hawkeye. These bats are shadows and of course can ignore physical attacks. Ha ha ha, Hawkeye, let's see how you can break my trick. Moria couldn't help laughing triumphantly when she saw that Hawkeye's knife was ineffective. Oh, what about Haki? Hawkeye said calmly, cut out a knife again. Zanbo took armament Haki with him, and Moria's shadow bats shattered wherever he passed, unable to reassemble, and directly broke his move. Damn it. Shadow cut. Moria took out a pair of giant scissors and stepped forward to catch Hawkeye's shadow. Once caught by him, Hawkeye loses his shadow, and Moria can make Hawkeye's shadow blend into the zombies. This kind of zombie possesses part of Hawkeye's strength and is difficult to deal with. In this regard, Hawkeye is still flat A. With one blow, the scissors in Moria's hand snapped in two. Shadow horn gun. Moria roared, and his huge shadow turned into a shadow gun, soaring directly from the deck to the sky, piercing Hawkeye. This move was very powerful. During the Summit War, he used this move to pierce Little Ozzy's powerful and thick body, inflicting heavy injuries on Little Ozzy. His huge shadow flew close to the ground at an extremely fast speed, and came to Hawkeye's feet in the blink of an eye, as if it could pierce Hawkeye in the next instant. Hawkeye shook his head, stabbed the black knife lightly into the ground, and Moria's shadow gun broke. Hawkeye, don't force me. Moria yelled, her eyes hardened. He opened his mouth wide, and out of nowhere, there were 1,000 shadows. It must have been collected by him recently. As 1,000 shadows poured into his mouth, his size was magnified several times, and he was truly bigger than a giant. He raised his huge fist and smashed it directly at Hawkeye. The fist wind bursts, mighty and frightening. He once used this method to smash a small island to pieces with one punch. This is his strongest move, and also his trump card. This kind of power even made Su Mu interested. This power is already very good. In terms of strength alone, Hawkeye might not be as good. However, Su Mu still shook his head, because he knew that Hawkeye didn't care at all. Sure enough, Hawkeye raised his knife, and it was still flat. Click. Moria's huge fist was directly cut. At the moment of breaking, shadows kept pouring out from his arm, blocking the sharp and terrifying slash of Hawkeye for him, so that his arm would not really break. Brush. Hawkeye slashed out again, and the huge slash directly hit Moria. It's useless to rely on the power of others if you have power in vain. Hawkeye commented on Moria lightly, which is exactly the same as Hexia Jinbei commented on Moria during the Summit War. That slash hit Moria's body, and cut out hundreds of shadows in his body. Moria's huge body is like a deflated ball, or like a man's mighty Haki after the scenery. Straight away. The battle is over. Moria tried all means, but Hawkeye only had one move from beginning to end. Ping A. The results are realistic. Moria lost. Hawkeye didn't break a sweat. Moria didn't get angry. She looked at Su Mu, and begged, Master Su Mu, don't watch the show on the sidelines, I'm your subordinate after all, help me deal with outsiders, right? Su Mu got up from the reclining chair and said with a smile, who said he was an outsider? Moria's eyes widened in disbelief. Hawkeye, even choose to join others. But obviously, Su Mu's attitude towards Hawkeye has been proven. Okay, Moria, come here. Come here, I have a plan to tell you. Su Mu called the two of them. He just got the information he needed from Morgans. You too, I just got the news that Kizaru set off 3 days ago to encircle and suppress Zephyr. I'm afraid it's almost here now, and I have to set off quickly. Su Mu said. Your target is Zephyr. Moria asked. What are you going to do with him? Hawkeye asked. Whitebeard's resurrection is related to Su Mu, she knows it. But he didn't know it was Su Mu's fruit ability. But Moria knows. Su Mu spoke out his abilities and ideas, which made Hawkeye shocked and suddenly realized. All the doubts in his mind about Su Mu were solved again. Su Mu led the two of them towards the sea area where Zephyr was located at high speed. Now the pirate ship Resurrection has been upgraded to the 2nd tier, and its speed has doubled, much faster than the marine warship. They set out from the Punk Hazard waters and arrived at their destination in just 3 days. From a distance, Su Mu saw the sound of fierce battle coming from the island ahead. It seems that the battle is not over yet. Su Mu sighed. Due to his rebirth, the plot is advanced. At this time, Zephyr is not more disturbing than Straw Hat Crew, so Marine is extremely difficult to deal with. After all, Zephyr is not that easy to deal with as a former Marine Admiral. But it looks like it's almost over, Hawkeye said, frowning, as the violent impact on the island began to weaken. This shows that Zephyr's resistance is no longer available. Let's go and have a look. Su Mu took everyone off the boat, and put the resurrection pirate ship into the system backpack. They came to the location of the battle and watched the battle below from a hilltop. Besides Zephyr, only a blue-haired girl remained alive, but she was also bruised. As for Zephyr, it was already at the end of his battle. Most of the explosive rocks he took were destroyed by Kizaru in time, preventing him from causing devastating damage. Now, Marine has surrounded him. Besides Kizaru, there are several Vice Admiral and Marine elites. It seems Zephyr's end is already doomed. Master Su Mu, are we going down? Moria asked. Since Su Mu's target is Zephyr, and he also knows that Su Mu wants to take Zephyr on board, it is a good time to save him now. No, wait a little longer, wait until Zephyr is dead. Su Mu didn't move. Half an hour later, Zephyr was mobbed, activating the remaining explosive rocks, hoping to die with Marine. But unfortunately, Kizaru had already seen through, and finally Marine evacuated in time, and Zephyr was killed. Let's go, it's time. Su Mu led Hawkeye and the others down the mountain, but just after taking a few steps, the ground shook. A mountain crumbles and earth rolls down, burying Zephyr. It's Aokiji. Eagle-eyed, he saw Aokiji on the top of the opposite mountain at a glance. Su Mu smiled and couldn't help but feel happy. He didn't expect Aokiji to come here directly after Punk Hazard left Duel. As expected of a kind-hearted person, are you here to send his teacher off for the last time? He, Su Mu, was thinking of going to Aokiji and pulling him aboard after this incident, but now he doesn't have to bother to find him at all. Behind Su Mu, the wings of the devil spread out, and the whole person spread his wings from the top of the mountain, rushing directly to Zephyr's burial place. And Aokiji finally found out that Su Mu was also here. He frowned, stopped the steps he was about to leave, and walked towards Su Mu from the top of the mountain. Chapter 82 Aokiji on board. Advertise here. Su Mu used the demon wings to land directly at the Zephyr burial site, which was Aokiji's masterpiece just now. His mentor was besieged by Marine today. He foresaw the end of Zephyr, so he came to see him off today and buried him by himself. To his surprise, Su Mu actually came, and came so fast. This had to make him guess, how did the powerhouse of the world government and Akainu besiege Su Mu? What was the result of that battle? He thinks that maybe after he left, the battle didn't happen again, and Su Mu escaped directly by using the space ability. After all, there is more than one strong person in the world government, and no matter how you look at it, Su Mu is at a disadvantage. Who are you? A blue-haired girl struggled to climb out of the rubble. When she saw Su Mu falling from the sky, she couldn't help questioning her. She survived the final explosion, narrowly escaped by being protected by Zephyr. Now, Zephyr was buried by Aokiji, and Su Mu came suddenly, which made the blue-haired girl very vigilant. Are you Ain? Su Mu asked. He remembered that in the original plot, Zephyr had a student named Ian, with blue hair, a petite figure, a lowly face, and big eyes, similar to the girl in front of him. What do you want to do? Ain was vigilant, ready to fight. Although she was seriously injured, she will never allow anyone to disturb Teacher Zephyr's rest. I'm here to revive Zephyr. Su Mu was straightforward. In front of this little girl, he didn't need to hide it. Resurrect Teacher Zephyr. You. How is it possible? In shook his head, not believing it. In this world, there is no such miraculous thing as resurrecting others. It's also strange that she seems to be isolated from the world recently with Zephyr, and she didn't see some big events that Su Mu did that shocked the world. He didn't lie. Aokiji's voice sounded. He walked over, looked at Su Mu carefully and said, you can't see any signs of injury on your body, even the wounds from fighting me and Akainu are healed. This probably has something to do with your resurrection ability. Is it related? The resurrection of Whitebeard and Ace is indeed your masterpiece. This ability is really amazing. Aokiji sighed, and sincerely believed that Su Mu possessed an unbelievable mystery. However, thinking of the Zichuan family that he said he was from the D group, Aokiji can finally accept it in his heart. He had occasionally heard that the Zichuan royal family of the D family had a mysterious bloodline and possessed peerless and powerful power. Perhaps, Su Mu is because of blood. Aokiji, since you are here, let's witness a miracle. The corners of Su Mu's mouth rose. He took advantage of this opportunity and tried to win over Aokiji. Su Mu waved to the hill behind him, and Hawkeye, Moria and Monet followed. 7 warlords of the sea, the world's #1 swordsman, Mahawk, Gecko Moria, are you all with Su Mu? Aokiji's lazy face showed shock. Especially when he saw Hawkeye, he couldn't understand it. Marine Admiral Aokiji, you are wrong, I am not 7 warlords of the sea now, I am just a pirate, a crew member under Captain Su Mu. Hawkeye said lightly. Oh, that's really surprising. But you're wrong, I'm not Marine Admiral anymore, I'm just an idler at the moment. Aokiji sighed. Leaving Marine, I don't know if this is my original intention or a task that must be completed. Haha, this is Marine's loss. You shouldn't be called Aokiji now, it's time to call you Kuzan instead. Hawkeye looked at Aokiji with interest, and joked, if you have nowhere to go, why not come with us? Hawkeye offered an olive branch to Aokiji. Not long ago, Sumu told him her intentions, and he also knew that Sumu needed to summon strong men to overthrow the world government. Now, Aokiji, who is frustrated with world government and Marine, is the most suitable candidate. He possesses admiral-level combat power, one of those people whose combat power is at the ceiling in this world. In response, Aokiji looked at Sumu. Sumu smiled slightly, acquiescing to Hawkeye's invitation just now. I have indeed lost confidence in the world government, and I also know part of the world government's darkness and corruption, but it is undeniable that there are some people in the world government who have the same justice as me and are working hard for the peace of this world. He continued. I have fantasized in my heart, clean up the corruption in the dark corners of the world government, and keep those bright parts. This is what the world wants to see most. Aokiji's attitude seems to indicate that he has no intention of overthrowing the world government for the time being. What he wants is to change the world government, clean up the corruption, and promote the bright future. You are wrong. Sumu shook her head, refuting Aokiji's point. It is true that some people in the world government are dark and some are bright, but if you think about it carefully, who are the dark people and who are the bright people? Sumu sneered, and continued. Your knowledge of world government is still too little and one-sided. You only know some superficial things, but you don't know what is the darkness behind world government. Sumu sighed and said, I'm not very clear about it, I just vaguely know that the celestial dragons colluded with a mysterious material force, which completely erodes the world, and was blocked by the D clan to protect the world. Tranquility. But because of this, the world government will take the opportunity to destroy the D clan if the vitality of the D clan is seriously injured. He said solemnly, I have a hunch that it won't be long before this mysterious material force will make a comeback. Do you count on celestial dragons to protect this world? Are you sure this guess is true? Aokiji's eyes widened in disbelief. He is absolutely unaware of this kind of secret news. Kuzan, this happened in 100 years of blankness. It was directly erased by the world government, leaving no traces in the whole world. But I was resurrected, of course I know some secrets. His eyes began to glow, and a smile gradually bloomed on his face. When the time is right, I will resurrect my father and big brother, and I will also resurrect the rest of the D family. At that time, the secret will naturally be revealed. You can really resurrect people who have been dead for hundreds of years. Aokiji was shocked and incoherent when he heard Suemu's words just now. The ancestors of the D clan, those are powerful figures, who have been dead for hundreds of years, and there is no bones left. There will be such a day. Suemu's eyes were firm. As long as his resurrection devil fruit is awakened, the dead can be resurrected without a body. Oh, it seems that I am still too naive. Aokiji sighed. If it is true what Sumu said, the idea he insisted on before has indeed entered a dead end. He believes that there is darkness and light in the world government, and it is enough to remove the darkness, and there is no need to overthrow it, because every major war is poured with the blood of countless people. Listening to Sumu now, he seems to understand that the darkness of the world government is rotten from the root, from the highest level. Even if there are people with bright hearts, they are just people who don't have much right to speak. For example, some people in Marine, such as some kingdoms of world government. However, for the huge world government, these people and forces are simply not enough to change Celestial Dragon's lofty attitude and the corruption in their blood. So, why don't you come with me to witness the ultimate truth? Sumu invited again. Aokiji lowered his head in silence, and then slowly raised his head after a long time, looked at Sumu firmly and said. If it is true as you said, the high and powerful in this world should also be knocked down like mortal dust. Aokiji boarded the boat, sprinkled flowers to celebrate, begged for support. Chapter 83 Resurrection Zephyr, Happy Shishi Festival plus more. Advertise here. Kuzan, welcome. Hawkeye smiled rarely. The joining of Aokiji made Suemu's team stronger again. Here, there is one Marine Admiral and 2 former Shichibukai. And shortly thereafter, a former Marine Admiral will be added. Haha. That's great. Kuzan, I believe your choice is absolutely right. Sumu was genuinely happy and patted Aokiji's shoulder excitedly. Ha 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 ha. First didn't expect Marine Admiral to become a pirate. Moria laughed from the side, lamenting that this world is really amazing. He didn't mean to be sarcastic, it's just that Aokiji sounded annoyed. Huh. Aokiji waved his hand, and the freezing ability was released directly, freezing Moria into an ice sculpture. Moria's eyes rolled inside the ice sculpture, as if begging Aokiji to let him out. In fact, he can also break free himself, but it will take some time, he just doesn't want to be tortured by the biting cold. How could Aokiji let him out? Just freeze him and shut him up. However, the next moment, the sword light flashed, and the ice sculpture that had frozen Moria shattered, allowing Moria to finally get rid of the cold. Thank you Master Sumu. Moria was delighted, and hurriedly thanked Sumu, not forgetting to proudly cast a provocative look at Aokiji. It seems to say that labor and capital are covered by Sumu, afraid of you. He is the first subordinate Sumu regained, and he is the elder, so sometimes he is proud of it. In response, Aokiji snorted coldly and didn't bother to pay attention. Now is the time when Moria is needed. After he finishes his work, you two can find a place to practice alone. Sumu said to Aokiji with a smile. When Moria heard it, her forehead was sweating profusely, and she hurriedly protested. Master Sumu, I don't want to practice with him, so please leave me alone. And Aokiji had a wicked smile on the corner of his mouth. The eagle eye on the side had a solemn expression, but the corners of his mouth twitched slightly, as if he couldn't hold back his laughter. He couldn't help feeling in his heart that Sumu seemed to be born with the charm to change others. Starting from Moria, who was willing to succumb to anyone, to Rayleigh, who was depressed and decadent, to Whitebeard, a self-improving man in the world, then to himself alone, and finally to Aokiji, who was lazy and free. These people are all on Suemu's boat now, and their personalities have changed more or less. He started talking more, Moria became submissive, and Aokiji became more childish, which is really amazing. Moria, dig out Zephyr. Suemu's order to Moria. Received. Moria accepted the order immediately. He walked over, and his huge shadow began to change, becoming like a shovel. Click. The huge shadow shovel shoveled down fiercely, directly digging up tons of soil. Take it easy, lousy, don't accidentally break Zephyr's body. Sumu quickly reminded. He didn't expect to spend more resurrection power. A few months ago, it was me and Rayleigh doing the job, now with Moria, it's so much easier. Sumu watched Moria start digging proficiently, and couldn't help sighing. Did you and Rayleigh dig Whitebeard's grave? Hawkeye asked aside. Haha, that's right, now that I think about it, it's really quite interesting. Sumu couldn't help laughing. Whitebeard was his first target, and that was the beginning of his revenge plan. Since then, he's really turned against the world government, really openly hostile. Now, several months have passed, and several major events have happened during the period, which makes him feel exciting just thinking about it. This is an experience he has never had in his previous life. After a few minutes, Moria's job was done beautifully, pulling Zephyr's body up from the ground. Teacher Zephyr. The blue-haired girl Ian choked up. Sumu walked over, rubbed Ian's aqua blue hair, and said relaxedly, why are you crying? Zephyr will be resurrected in a while. Ian stared at Sumu dissatisfied, and looked forward to whether he really had the magical power of resurrection. Sumu walked up to Zephyr, squatted down, and pressed his hand on his forehead. The resurrection ability is activated, and the secret flow bridge is established, connecting Sumu and Zephyr. Suemu's consciousness call awakened Zephyr's consciousness from the dark and lonely place and brought his consciousness back. Then, Sumu channeled the power of resurrection and began to repair the fatal wound on Zephyr's body. It's amazing, the wound on Mr. Zephyr's body is healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Aokiji marveled, it was the first time he had seen such a miraculous scene. Teacher Zephyr's broken arm is beginning to grow again. In discovered an even more shocking scene. Is this the resurrection ability? This sea will really be different. Eagle Eyes hunted, seeing the magic of the resurrection ability. A group of frogs at the bottom of the well, Master Suemu's resurrection ability is so amazing. Moria ridiculed the three of Aokiji from the sidelines. He was resurrected by Sumu. After his consciousness returned, he personally experienced the whole process of his own body resurrection. Of course, he knew the magic of Suemu's resurrection ability. At this time, finally got the chance, he had to despise Aokiji and the others. Aokiji waved his hand, and the freezing ability suddenly attacked, freezing Moria into an ice sculpture again, making him shut up again. This time, Sumu didn't have the time to let him out, so he had to stay in the ice sculpture and spend several minutes to get out. Sumu sent Zephyr the power of resurrection as always, and soon after, his body's wounds were basically healed. Next, it was his internal injury and broken arm. This requires more resurrection power. Zephyr was hit several times by Kizaru's 8-foot Chonguyu, and was destroyed by the explosive rock. In fact, his body was seriously damaged. Worse than Whitebeard's physical destruction. But his body is relatively small, and his strength is one level lower than that of Whitebeard, so there is not much difficulty for Sumu. It only takes time to revive him completely. Sumu chose to repair his internal organs first. The power of resurrection poured in, and after 10 minutes, all his damaged internal organs were repaired. Zephyr opened his eyes and looked at the people around Sumu himself. Teacher Zephyr. Ain shouted excitedly. Teacher Zephyr. Aokiji stepped forward excitedly, holding Zephyr's hand. Boy, is that me you resurrected? Zephyr nodded to Aokiji and Ain, looking at Sumu and asked. In fact, after his consciousness returned, he already felt that the person who revived him was this young man. Don't move. Your broken arm still needs to be repaired, and it will be done in 5 minutes. Sumu nodded to Zephyr, and continued to pour in the power of resurrection, making Zephyr's arms grow continuously. Can my arm be restored again? Zephyr saw the flesh and blood of his arm growing at an unimaginable speed, half of it recovered in a short while, and he was too excited. This is Black Arm Zephyr, and his strength stems from the iron fist of armament hockey. I didn't expect that after it was broken, it could come back miraculously. Hey, what I give you is not only a broken arm, but also your peak physical condition. Zephyr, think back, when was your peak? Su-mu chuckled, and what he said made Zephyr almost cry with excitement. Chapter 84 Zephyr on board. Advertise here. Su-mu's words made Zephyr cry with excitement. Not only was he resurrected, his broken arm was about to be reborn, and even his physical condition was about to return to its peak. It's just a dream. His thoughts flew, and he was brought back to the period when he was 30 or 40 years old. At that time, he became Marine Admiral, and together with Garp, Sengoku, and Crane, he was powerful in the sea, and he also married a wife and had children. However, fate seemed to be unfair to him. The child was born without much family happiness, and his family was brutally killed by pirates. This hit him too hard, and even made him leave Marine for a while. But how could Kong let go of a talent like Zephyr at that time? So he was transferred to the Marine School as an instructor. This seems to have started another legendary life of Zephyr. Many of his students are now high-level figures in Marine. Today's soon-to-be Marshal Akainu, former Marine Admiral Aokiji, and current Marine Admiral Kizaru are all his students. Further down, there are several Marine Vice Admirals such as Smoker, and some Rear Admirals such as Marine Rear Admiral Hina, who has the Bar Fruit ability. It can be said that most of Marine's top management are his students, and most of the entire elite are Zephyr's students. Few people in Marine can match this kind of feat. Then when he was 60 or 70 years old, he took his students out to practice and was attacked by Edward Wable. Zephyr's arm was cut off, and only 2 students were left in the whole team. This made Zephyr extremely painful and vowed to kill all pirates. He installed a mechanical arm just to do his last job. However, to his surprise, anger, disappointment, and discouragement, 2 years later, that is, a few months ago, the world government actually wanted to absorb Wable into 7 warlords of the sea. Although the official appointment has not yet been made, as the oldest instructor in Marine, he has a lot of contacts, so of course he knew the news in advance. So, disheartened, he resolutely quit Marine. Later, he formed Neo Marine, crazily killing pirates, snatching explosive rocks, and even destroying the world. This is his vengeance and fire. It is also his current state of mind. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but sigh. After dying once, he realized that his thoughts were a little ridiculous. A person is still too small, too weak. Being easily defeated by Marine, how can we talk about revenge? Okay, your arm has grown back. At this time, Su-mu's voice sounded, pulling him back to reality from his memory. He followed the sound, and saw that the broken mechanical arm no longer existed, replaced by a new arm. He felt for a while that the newly grown arm fit his body very well without any rejection, just like his original arm. His eyes glowed again. The arm regenerated, seemingly giving him new strength. He was about to say thanks, but he saw that Su-mu was still sending the power of resurrection into his body seriously. Who is this little guy? How does he have such amazing abilities? Zephyr looked at Su-mu with great curiosity. But he didn't bother Su-mu, because he knew that Su-mu was now helping him to recuperate his body and restore his body to its peak condition. His body, due to aging and many years of unrecognized diseases, has declined a lot, from the admiral level to the level of Shichibukai, which is not even as good as Wable. However, with the influx of Su-mu's resurrection power, Zephyr's body is reversing, regaining its youth, dark diseases are beginning to be eliminated, muscles and cells are active, and physiology is vigorous. Okay, feel it. A few minutes later, Su-mu stopped to let Zephyr feel the current state. Kuzan, take my punch. Zephyr shouted excitedly and punched Aokiji directly. Advanced armament hockey instantly wraps around his arms and fists, bringing Black Arm back to life. His fists made the surrounding air explode, with a kind of great power. Hey, Teacher Zephyr, try not to be so scary. Aokiji was taken aback by the fist, and hurriedly encouraged armament hockey, and even realized the frozen fruit ability, and punched Zephyr with all his strength. Boom. The huge impact caused the entire island to shake up. The 2 weaker girls, Ain and Monet, were blown away by the aftermath. If Su-mu hadn't used the space ability to help them in time, it is estimated that the 2 girls would have been blown away at least 100 meters away. Ha ha ha. That feels right. Zephyr laughed. He felt full of strength, and he punched Aokiji, but he didn't lose. I haven't asked you your name yet. Zephyr will never forget this kindness. At this time, Zephyr looked at Su-mu seriously, bowed and said in a deep voice. My name is Su-mu. Su-mu introduced herself very simply. However, Hawkeye added on the sidelines. His name is Su-mu. He was originally the prince of the Zichuan family of the D clan for hundreds of years. He was resurrected a few months ago. Now, his identity has been made public, and he has waged a war with the world government. Hawkeye deliberately highlighted the conflict between Su-mu and the world government. This is obviously an ulterior motive. Because Hawkeye is also aware of Zephyr's life experience, this is another disguised way of pulling people on board for Su-mu. Moria slapped her head and realized suddenly. And aggrieved, the opportunity to perform in front of Su-mu was unexpectedly preempted by Hawkeye again. Aokiji also echoed. Sensei, Mihawk is right. Kuzan, why are you here? I heard that you are going to compete with Akainu for the position of marshal. Zephyr asked back. Teacher, first quit Marine just like you. I joined Su-mu's team just now. Aokiji revealed his identity. What, you too? Haha, very good. Zephyr laughed happily after being surprised. The world government is dark, and Marine can't stay any longer. He thinks Aokiji's choice is right. Zephyr, since we have a common purpose, why don't you join my ship and push to the celestial dragon's rule with me? Su Mu extended an olive branch. Zephyr, who has returned to the peak, is a rare combat force. Su Mu didn't want to use the system's orders to treat such strong people directly, just like he resurrected Whitebeard, he wanted them to obey him willingly. Su Mu, I am very grateful that you resurrected me, but let me submit to you, I don't know if you have the qualifications. Zephyr looked suspiciously. Haha, what you said makes sense. If you don't have strength, how can you convince the crowd? Zephyr, do you want to fight me? Su Mu laughed loudly, with indescribable heroism. Aokiji winked at Zephyr, but Zephyr didn't pay any attention to it, nor could he understand it. He punched Su Mu with confidence. However, half an hour later, he was tired and waved his hand to signal that he would stop beating. On the other hand, Su Mu is relaxed and casual, and doesn't seem to even break a sweat. No matter which single ability he uses, he now has Admiral-level combat power, and some abilities are even higher than Zephyr's ordinary Admiral-level combat power. So, after experiencing the horror of Su Mu, Zephyr surrendered again and again. Young people don't talk about wood. With such a strong strength, he didn't even say it, so he insisted on embarrassing the old man. Su Mu, since that's the case, I'll join you. Let me together overturn the world government and completely knock the celestial dragons into dust. Zephyr spoke, expressed his attitude, and officially boarded the ship. Chapter 85 The Queen's Wicked Smile. Advertise here. Zephyr showed his attitude and added another member to Su Mu's team. Today, the team under Su Mu is already very strong. Whitebeard and his pirate group, Aokiji, Rayleigh, Zephyr, Hawkeye, Empress, Moria. This kind of power has been able to change the pattern of the sea. But Su Mu knows that for the world government, it is not enough. He lived through that era. Even if the group of D suffers from the protection of the world and the mysterious dark matter, there is still a terrifying force, which is much stronger than the power and influence he has now. But such forces were still defeated by the world government. It is conceivable that Su Mu is still far from being on par with the world government. Ding, Aokiji has successfully boarded the ship and will be rewarded with 15 resurrection points. Ding, Zephyr was successfully revived and boarded the ship, 10 resurrection points will be rewarded. Ding, congratulations to host for signing in on the Zephyr Black Arm, speed +6, strength +6, physical strength +6, combat awareness +6, an extra reward of Devil Fruit, a bottle of reward Space Devil Fruit Enhancer, and reward Devil Fruit ability a bottle of booster applicable to advanced and below. In Su Mu's mind, the system's reward prompt sounded continuously. Su Mu hastily looked at the point system requirements for the upgrade of the Resurrection Pirate ship, and found that it takes 30 points to upgrade from LV2 to LV3, which is still almost there. This made him feel regretful. He really wanted to see what the Resurrection Pirate ship looked like at LV3. Is the pirate ship twice as big? Will there be more rooms? Could it be that the functions of the training room and the healing room have increased again? This makes Su Mu have infinite reverie. He released the Resurrection Pirate ship from the system backpack again, invited everyone to board the ship, and headed back to Daughter Island. In the process, he began to study the Devil Fruit, which is an additional reward for the system. The introduction of the system is not detailed, but Su Mu understands it clearly enough. Zone, Phantom Beast Species, Gluttonous Devil Fruit. This made Su Mu's hair stand on end. When he was on Earth, he was more interested in the classic of mountains and seas, and he also knew a thing or two about the beast like Teodi. Sure enough, the system's introduction to the ability of this Devil Fruit confirmed his guess. Gluttony Devil Fruit has the power to devour everything, and can absorb the power of others and transform it into its own power. Closing square bracket. The power of gluttony can completely deprive the Devil Fruit of the newly dead, so that the ability of the Devil Fruit of others can be used for oneself, and it is not limited by the capacity of the Devil Fruit. The deprived Devil Fruit ability development degree is the same as the deprived person's Devil Fruit ability development degree. Closing square bracket. The introduction of the gluttonous Devil Fruit by the system made Su Mu secretly very happy. Another hang-up. In this way, he will no longer be limited by the number of Devil Fruit abilities, and can have unlimited Devil Fruit. In the past, his family blood allowed him to have 9 Devil Fruits, but now this special gluttonous Devil Fruit allows him to have unlimited Devil Fruits. This is not to say that his bloodline is not as good as a Devil Fruit, only that the effect is different. Su Mu believes that there are more terrifying and mysterious powers hidden in his blood. This can only be known by the family members of the revived D family. Without any hesitation, Su Mu ate the gluttonous Devil Fruit. He ate the 2 bottles of Devil Fruit booster that were rewarded by the system. One is used on the Teodi Devil Fruit ability, making the Teodi Devil Fruit ability reach the middle level. The other bottle acts on the ability of the Space Devil Fruit, making the Space ability reach its peak. Now the Resurrection ability and Space ability have reached the peak. Break through another layer, and you can awaken. His I and I abilities have reached an advanced level, and there is no distinction between high and low acting abilities, so he can only improve his acting skills. Now the ability of this gluttonous Devil Fruit has reached the intermediate level, which is also a good result. He now has 5 devil fruits, which actually has the potential of unlimited abilities. Because playing devil fruit, you can get different abilities by playing different characters. In the future, Teoti Devil Fruit will also continue to gain devil fruit abilities, making him the real king of abilities. Dark Fruit, Lava Fruit, Yu Fruit, String Fruit are all good, it's too eye-catching. Su Mu sneered, and seemed to have a new goal. Daughter's Island, the Imperial Palace. The Empress was thinking about spring, looking shyly at herself in the mirror. Master Snake Princess. Behind him, a very short and very old woman came in front of the Empress. Grandma, what are you doing here? The Empress was dissatisfied. She is thinking about spring, how embarrassing to be seen by outsiders. Master Shiji, I have a suggestion. Grandma Z sat down directly in front of the Empress. She has the qualifications. As the former emperor of Daughter Country, she also has a high prestige in Daughter Island. It's not important, please come back tomorrow. The Empress didn't seem to want to hear it. She is a willful woman who often does things according to her heart. Snake Girl, I have something important to do, which is related to the future of Daughter's Island. Granny Z received it seriously. The future of Daughter's Island. Is it so serious? That's right. The mother-in-law said sternly. Before I opposed you marrying Master Su Mu, it was because the emperor of the Daughter Country cannot marry. But you insist on going your own way, and you still marry in the end, and I have no choice. However, it has now been proved that your decision is correct. Master Su Mu, with a distinguished identity and bloodline, is completely worthy of you. Since you have joined the Zichuan family, the Daughter Island and the Zichuan family are one family. Not to mention that the Zichuan family is almost extinct, and only Master Su Mu has one bloodline. Just talking about the Daughter Island also needs a strong bloodline to multiply. For the purpose escort to the future. But you have been married for 11 years, and you are 29 years old, why don't you have any children? The mother-in-law's question made the Empress stunned in place. Yeah, they've been married for 11 years, almost 4,000 days. Follow on average once a day. There are also 4,000 times, right? Besides, before we got married, it was almost the year before we got married. It is also not a small amount. Why didn't you conceive a baby? I don't know either. The Empress bowed her head hastily, her face turned even more shy and red. Did Lord Su Mu take measures every time? Granny Z reminded, as someone who has experienced it, of course she knows about love affairs. It seems like every time before starting. He said to wear a raincoat, but I don't quite understand. The idiot Empress who knows nothing about this kind of thing doesn't even know what a raincoat is. Although she was curious about that thing every time, she didn't ask, so she still doesn't know. Snake Princess, you really are an idiot. The mother-in-law knew the reason as soon as she heard it, and then told the Empress this popular science knowledge, which made her suddenly realize. The mother-in-law asked, Snake Princess, do you want a baby? When the Empress heard this, her face was so hot that she could fry eggs on it. This is too embarrassing. Yes, she nodded repeatedly. This is for you, you should know how to do it. The mother-in-law took out an embroidery needle and handed it to the Empress. The Empress took it, a wicked smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. Chapter 86. Advertise here. Sky, not blazing, hang high. In the sea, occasionally a few fish jumped up. As for the strange fish and sea kings, they are put on the grill and grilled specially by Moria. The huge resurrection pirate ship is sailing on the sea, it doesn't look bulky at all, but it's extremely fast. If there is a marine warship by the side, you will find that the marine warship is just a small one. On the deck, a row of lounge chairs walked up. Su Mu, Aokiji, Zephyr, and Hawkeye each have one. Even beside the deck chairs, there are simple beaches and coconut trees. Behind Su Mu, Monet massaged Su Mu and fed him a mouthful of fruit from time to time. Ain, who followed Zephyr on board, is also helping to pack and clean Su Mu's room. Aokiji and others can't enjoy the treatment of Su Mu, and they have to get fruit by themselves if they want to eat fruit. Blue blue blue. Blue blue blue. Su Mu's exclusive phone bug rang and Morgan's called. Master Su Mu, have you succeeded? Morgan's flattering voice sounded. He asked, of course, about resurrecting Zephyr. Because the information about the island where Zephyr is located is what he provided to Su Mu. Of course. You switch to the video call mode. Su Mu said lightly. Morgan switches hastily, and the video of the phone bug appears, allowing both parties to see each other's location. It's resurrected. Morgan's caught sight of Zephyr on the far side. Didn't he break his arm? Has it grown back now? Morgan's clicked his tongue. Good guy. Su Mu not only resurrected Zephyr, but brought him back to life with a broken arm. It's so exciting. Wait, who did I see? Over at the phone bug, Morgan's jaw dropped to the floor in shock. His bird eyes are round, and his mouth is so long that he can take off one. Marine Admiral Aokiji. Morgan's finally said the name that shocked him. Why is he shocked? Because Aokiji is beside Su Mu, on Su Mu's boat. That is to say, Aokiji boarded Su Mu's boat, as did Whitebeard et al. He was not surprised that Zephyr was lying next to Su Mu, because Zephyr, who was revived by Sumu and hated world government and Marine, should be on board. But Aokiji joined Sumu directly after leaving Marine for a few days. This is the breaking news that shocked the world. Morgan's heart is beating so hard, his headlines today seem to have come to an end. The resurrection of Zephyr and the addition of Aokiji to Suemu's command are enough to attract the attention of the world. Isn't this the world's #1 swordsman, Hawkeye? He joined. Morgan suddenly saw Hawkeye on the far side and was surprised again. He looked up and found that not far away, Moria's unique figure emerged, grilling and doing service work. 2 former 7 warlords of the sea. Now, Morgan's shock nerves seemed to go numb. Marine Admiral, 7 warlords of the sea, these powerhouses who were supposed to work for the world government and Marine, have now all joined Suemu's command. What the hell, he almost suspected that Bird was alive. Morgans, is my information exploding? Are you satisfied? How do you repay? Suemu smiled playfully. How did Morgans understand what Suemu meant? Asking him to turn on the video mode, seeing so many strong people appearing on the resurrection pirate ship, enjoying themselves beside Suemu, this has obviously told Morgans several exciting news. Morgans hurriedly said, Master Suemu's concern, Morgans will always remember. Please ask sir, Morgans knows everything. Tell me first, the secret news you know what I care about. Suemu tapped the recliner with her finger and said. Yes, Golden Lion, who escaped from Impel Down for nearly 20 years, has recently started frequent activities. He destroyed 3 marine branch strongholds, destroyed 3 islands, captured 3 towns, and robbed countless small animals and meat kind. The position of Marine Marshal has been officially confirmed. Akainu will officially take office in Naval Headquarters, which was temporarily built in Marineford in 10 days. And he has already proposed that after taking office, Naval Headquarters will be moved to the New World Marine G1 branch. Marine's world conscription is over. It is worth your attention that Marine has added 2 new admirals, codenamed Fujitora and Green Bull. Morgans said 3 breaking news in a row, each of which made Suemu feel very good, but he still needs to beat Morgans again. Because this information will be released soon, he just knew it in advance, and it does not have the same value as the information he provided Morgans. Morgans, this news doesn't seem to be enough. After a few days, people all over the world will know. What's the use of me knowing a few days in advance? Suemu said dissatisfied. Lord Suemu, I have no news that would interest you. Morgans had a mournful face. Really, after that, I will only sell your competitors the news about me. Suemu sneered. Don't. Master Suemu, I'm the most well-connected journalist, it's not worth it for you to give up working with me. I really. Before Morgans finished speaking, Suemu turned off the phone bug. Hee. Suemu sneered twice, with a confident attitude. Blue blue blue. Morgan's phone bug strikes again. As soon as he got connected, Morgans said eagerly. Master Suemu, I want to get a piece of news that you are very concerned about. You finally figured it out. Suemu smiled faintly. But he sneered in his heart, it seemed that he had to find an opportunity to kill Morgans quickly so that he would be obedient. My lord Suemu, the celestial dragons and the world government are making moves. The Valley of the Gods, which has disappeared for decades, suddenly appeared for an hour yesterday. The world government seems to have brought out a frozen prisoner from it, and has already escorted it to Mariajoy. Morgans said tremblingly. This is the top secret of the world government and celestial dragons. He now tells Suemu that if the world government finds out, he will definitely die ugly. Oh, have you found out who the prisoner is? Suemu narrowed her eyes, her face serious. Prisoners are closely guarded by the world government, and their faces cannot be seen clearly. It may take a certain amount of time to find out. Morgans said. He hesitated to speak, and finally gritted his teeth and said, Master Suemu, this prisoner has been frozen, and the world government attaches great importance to it. I guess, it is very likely that he is an old member of the D family. Boom. Hearing Morgan's speculation, Suemu's powerful aura suddenly became uncontrollable, and burst out directly, making the strong men on the side tremble with fear, as if facing a prehistoric monster. This fully shows that Suemu's mood fluctuates greatly. Morgans, check it out for me, hurry up and check it out, I have a big reward. Suemu gritted her teeth and said fiercely. He had a premonition in his heart that this frozen prisoner was very likely to be an old member of the D family who was related to him, and he might even be his relative. How could this not make him shocked and angry? Chapter 87 Meeting the Strong of the Old and New Era. Advertise here. Suemu was in a state of uncertainty, like an ant on a hot pot, wishing to kill Mariajoy immediately. But he is very clear that with his current strength, it is far from enough. And in the past hundreds of years, he is still not sure whether the dark matter that invaded the world will be released by the celestial dragons again. Now, he can only suppress his impatience. He must keep calm and not lose his mind, otherwise the rescue goal will not be achieved, and he may still get involved. Although he has the fruit of resurrection, he is not infinitely resurrected. At present, he needs physical strength to support the resurrection. Only when the resurrection ability is awakened can he be completely immortal. And this kind of self, the world government has a lot of ways to get rid of it, so he must not let himself make mistakes. Suemu took a deep breath and lay down again. Suemu, Don't be impatient. If you want to rescue your loved ones, you have to make a plan, just like you saved the pirate queen Boa Hancock. Aokiji reminded. He is well aware of the horrors of the world government, and he absolutely cannot confront them head on right now. Kuzan is right, and Morgans has a complicated background. He has cooperation with the world government, so his information needs to be confirmed. Zephyr also expressed his views. As a senior Marine executive, he still knows something about world government's dealings with Morgans. That's right, if this is the news that the world government deliberately asked Morgans to disclose to you. It will be troublesome to lure you into the bait. Now they are in the open and you are in the dark. You must calm down and plan everything. Hawkeye did in summary. I am also persuading Su Mu. Well, no matter who the frozen prisoner is, he can't be in danger now, but the world government wants to use him to deal with me. Su Mu calmed down and gradually let himself relax. As he said, the world government had a purpose in freezing the prisoner and releasing him now, and it would definitely not let him die. Moreover, Su Mu can be revived even if he dies. So it doesn't make sense for the world government to kill that frozen prisoner. His appearance is mainly to intimidate Su Mu. Golden Lion, that bastard suddenly appeared, and he plundered small animals and meat. What is he doing? Zephyr was puzzled. I do know, Su Mu murmured. He collected these things just to feed his beasts. This is what Su Mu knew from watching anime. A beast. Has he changed his career to be a beast tamer? Zephyr asked. After speaking, even he himself laughed. This is ridiculous. You're only half right. Su Mu's answer made Zephyr's forehead full of black lines. Can this kind of absurd speculation have anything to do with it? Golden Lion is cultivating his own power, and those beasts are his warriors. Su Mu replied affirmatively to Zephyr. Suddenly his eyes lit up, and said, maybe I know what Golden Lion is going to do next. Everyone looked at Su Mu together with questioning eyes. They are all with Su Mu recently, and he will definitely not know anything about Golden Lion's actions. 10 days later, Marineford will be lively again. Akainu has been officially appointed as Marine Marshal. Why is there no one to celebrate? Su Mu recently showed a meaningful smile, as if she was about to watch a show. You mean, Golden Lion is going to make a big fuss at Naval Headquarters in 10 days' time? Hawkeye widened his eyes. This is really a model of death. Aokiji sighed. 20 years ago, he made a big fuss in Naval Headquarters and was captured by Garp and Sengoku. He was imprisoned in Impel Down and escaped by beheading his own legs. After paying such a high price to escape, now they want to make a fuss in Naval Headquarters again. Akainu is no Garp. If he is arrested this time, he will probably be executed directly by Akainu. Do you think Golden Lion is stupid? You've spent so many years preparing, it won't capsize so easily. Marineford, I'm afraid it will really be ruined this time. Su Mu sneered. He has already decided to watch a play, and when the time comes, the Oriole will follow. Wait for the news from Morgans. You can wait and see the changes in the farce of Golden Lion. Su Mu finally concluded. 3 days later, on the edge of Daughter's Island, a beautiful attic stands brand new. This is the temporary residence built by the Whitebeard pirates for Whitebeard and Rayleigh. At this time, Whitebeard and Rayleigh are watching from the attic. Su Mu said that they will be back today, and that they will give us a surprise. Whitebeard grinned. I was worried that he was plotted against by Akainu and Aokiji before, but now it seems that I was thinking too much. He can come back safe and sound. He must not have faced the siege of 2 Marine admirals. Rayleigh analyzed seriously. Not necessarily. Su Mu didn't say the details, but it doesn't rule out that he can fight 2 admirals. I have always doubted his strength. This guy hides too deeply, and there should be secrets in him. I'm afraid his strength much scarier than we thought, Whitebeard said. How better than you? Rayleigh teased. Not weaker than me, I can't beat him. This is Whitebeard's evaluation. Because Su Mu's ability is too mysterious and he has too many means, Whitebeard is not sure to defeat Su Mu at all. Here we come. Rayleigh saw a black dot rapidly enlarging at the end of the sea. It was a pirate ship. The colorful streamer on the hull, you can tell it is the pirate ship Resurrection at a glance. Hey, when did the Resurrection become so big? Whitebeard marvels as the Resurrection approaches. Because the Resurrection is now bigger than the Moby Dick. Newgate, look at the deck. Rayleigh reminded Whitebeard excitedly. Whitebeard picked up the binoculars and froze in place. What a surprise. Whitebeard exclaimed. Su Mu, how on earth did you trick those guys into the boat? Rayleigh felt amused and admired at this moment. God knows. Whitebeard was also incredulous. Finally, the pirate ship Resurrection docked and stopped in front of the attic. On deck, the crowd faced Whitebeard and Rayleigh at close quarters. Kulalalala. Old guys from the old days, we have another companion. Whitebeard looked at Zephyr and laughed. Young and middle-aged boys, this world hasn't been handed over to you yet. Rayleigh was in high spirits. Since taking off his glasses, Rayleigh's temperament has changed drastically, and he has a special kind of hockey. That was the era of Pluton. Big shoulders, determination, sharp eyes. He said it to Hawkeye and Aokiji and others, with thick provocation. Ha ha, Whitebeard, Pluton Rayleigh, I didn't expect that we would meet again like this. Zephyr jumped from the Resurrection pirate ship to the attic. It seems that we are underestimated by these old guys. Hawkeye said to Aokiji dissatisfied. Under the same roof, if you don't prove yourself now, you may be suppressed by them in the future. Hey, Hawkeye, Moria, each choose an old guy, let's fight. Seeing the high spirits of the three seniors, Aokiji couldn't help feeling heroic, and proposed to fight them. Chapter 88 Moria. Why is it always me who gets hurt? Advertise here. Facing the three powerhouses of the old era. 4 emperors, Marine Admiral, 1 Peace Deputy. These three are almost at their peak now. Anyone who was at the top of the pyramid in this sea. They once represented an era. Their names resounded across the sea, and everyone knew them. Aokiji is in high spirits, and Hawkeye is eager to try. Moria, however, immediately shrank into a ball. The heart will greet Aokiji 100 times 100 times. Let him pick someone to fight against. Who can he pick? 4 emperors. Admiral, 1 Peace Deputy Pluton Rayleigh. He shook his head again and again, like a rattle. Anyone who picks will be tortured. However, Aokiji has spoken, and Hawkeye has drawn his sword. Hollow circle _. He can't just run away, can he? As Aokiji said, let the 3 old guys look down on you now, and it will be harder to get along in the future. Besides, Sumu is still on the sidelines, he performed too badly, and he will have good fruit from then on. So at this time Moria catches the duck and puts it on the shelves. You guys choose first, I can do whatever I want. Moria said proudly. Anyway, whoever he picks doesn't make the same difference for him. Aokiji and Hawkeye glanced at Moria in surprise, without being pretentious, they fully satisfied his wish. Hawkeye walked towards Zephyr, bowed and said, during the Summit War, I had a simple fight with Whitebeard. Although I didn't fight directly, I still understand it. Today, the younger generation wants to experience the power of Black Arm. Haha, the #1 swordsman in the world is really extraordinary. Although you were once a Shichibukai, your hidden strength is beyond the reach of ordinary Shichibukai. Having said that, Zephyr glanced at Moria. Moria. I heard that you fought the red-haired Shanks a few times. Both ended in a draw, so let me see if you really have the strength to fight Admiral. Zephyr stepped out, officially accepting Hawkeye's challenge. I am the same as Mahawk. I have already fought against Whitebeard in the Summit War. Today I have a battle with Pluton Rayleigh. I heard some people say that although Pluton Rayleigh is only the deputy emperor, he has the strength of the real 4 emperors and can fight against Marine Admiral Content. Aokiji walked up to Rayleigh's opposite, laughing, and I do know that in Sabayati Archipelago, you and that Kizaru guy were inseparable. Rayleigh raised the corner of his mouth, pulled out his saber, and said confidently, fighting Kizaru is boring, that guy is paddling, always guerrilla warfare, working without effort, giving people a very boring feeling, not enjoyable at all, I hope you don't, it disappointed me. After Aokiji and Hawkeye finished the match, only Moria remained. And the strong man of the old age is only Whitebeard. The corner of Moria's mouth twitched, and she glanced at the interested Sumu behind her, dispelling the idea of running away. Nima, he wanted to be rough. Aokiji and Hawkeye are too bad. What the F***K left him with was the biggest guy. Good guy. Now pretend is really going to be struck by lightning. Hulalalala. Moria, Summit War, you beat Little Oz badly enough. Although you were not directly responsible for his death, you were also an accomplice. Whitebeard stepped forward and came to the pirate ship Resurrection. The material of this ship is too strong, even a strong man like Whitebeard cannot break this ship. Whitebeard's words made Moria fall into an ice cellar. Summit War, he is almost the hardest one in Shichibukai. Whitebeard has seen it all, and now he just seized the opportunity, how could he let him go? Moria is 692 tall and Whitebeard is 666 tall. Standing together, the two giants make Sumu, who is more than 2 meters away, look like a dwarf. Sumu shook his head helplessly, opened up space for the two of them, and carried a reclining chair to the edge of the deck to lie down and watch the show. Even though Moria is taller than Whitebeard, when comparing the two, Moria is like a bloated fat man, and he is weak at first glance. Whitebeard is strong and powerful, like a wild beast. In terms of momentum alone, Moria suffered a crushing defeat. The battle is on. The first to fight is Hawkeye and Zephyr, one with a knife. A black arm, the two directly collided with passionate sparks. Hawkeye, the most mysterious Shichibukai, fights with the peak Zephyr, which is quite interesting. The two opened and closed, they were rigid and strong, and the violent collision was pleasing to the eye. Subsequently, the battle between Aokiji and Rayleigh also began. Exactly as Aokiji expected, Rayleigh is extremely powerful, far from being the deputy emperor as ordinary people understand. He had met Whitebeard's vice-emperor Marco in the Summit War, and that was already the ceiling of the vice-emperor in this world. However, compared to Rayleigh, Marco pales in an instant. The title of Pluton was earned by Rayleigh's practical fists. It can be seen that Aokiji has met a strong enemy. He's finally sure now that Kizaru guy is right, that Rayleigh does have what it takes to take on Marine Admiral. Thinking of this, Aokiji didn't hold back anymore and went all out to fight Rayleigh ferociously. Moria, during the Summit War, you danced very happily, why are you silent today? Whitebeard looked at Moria meaningfully. I have a stomachache today and I want to go to the bathroom. Moria's eyes rolled wildly, and she found a lame excuse, wanting to have a shit escape. However, where will Whitebeard let him go? Stomach hurts and you want to go to the bathroom. Then go to the sea. Whitebeard stepped forward, clenched his fist, and slammed straight at Moria with brute force. Boom. With a loud noise, Moria has become the strongest state, swallowed 1,000 shadows, and made her body swell several times. The strength has also risen with the tide, which is extremely scary. So he throws his fist too, and it collides with Whitebeard's fist. The effect of this blow exceeded his expectations, and it was evenly matched, which gave Moria great confidence. He thinks Whitebeard is old and not as powerful as the legend says. So, strike while the iron is hot. His ferocious fist strikes again. Rods rats. Whitebeard's shocking ability was activated, the space around the fist split, and the shocking force rushed directly to Moria, colliding with his huge fist. Puff. Like a kite with a broken string, Moria flew backwards from the deck like a cannonball, coughing up blood. Plop. Moria fell into the sea. One strike. Whitebeard beat Moria with one serious blow. For Momonosuke, the grievances between you and me in the Summit War will be wiped out with this one punch. In the future, we will fight against the world government together, don't hold lousy back. Whitebeard's voice exploded beside Moria. Moria was weakly floating on the surface of the sea, still vomiting blood from her mouth, but she dared not board the boat. He was relieved to hear Whitebeard's statement. Seeing Aokiji and Hawkeye still fighting unscathed, Moria wanted to cry without tears, and couldn't help sighing, why is it always me who gets hurt? After Summit War, he was abused by Doflamingo, by Sumu, then by Hawkeye, now by Whitebeard, earlier, by Kaido, even by Luffy. What a sad history. Blind his good fruit for nothing. Even Sumu couldn't stand it anymore, and thought to himself, Moria must be allowed to improve her strength quickly in the training room. Speaking of updates, at least 2 chapters a day, there will be updates when you are not busy or have good grades, thank you. Chapter 89 Sumu. F*K, broken, leaked. Advertise here. Sumu fished Moria out of the sea, otherwise, with his current injuries and being soaked in the sea because he is a capable person, I am afraid it will be very bad. After all, not everyone is a jack. Hawkeye and Zephyr are still fighting, each trying to defeat the other. Zephyr has just returned to his peak, and his fighting spirit is strong, and he really wants to experience the feeling of being at the peak more. Hawkeye wants to break through himself and constantly push himself to be stronger, so he will never back down in this battle. He wants to become stronger under challenges and oppression. As for the battle between Aokiji and Rayleigh, it seems to be even hotter. Since Rayleigh took off his glasses, it's like a new skin. He has become extremely strong, fully blooming the violent temper he had when he was young. Although Aokiji was a Marine Admiral, he never experienced Rayleigh's era at all. At that time, he was at most a Rear Admiral or a Vice Admiral, and he was not qualified at all. Rayleigh's strength shocked him, and he had to go all out, otherwise he would really be taught a lesson. This will be a battle, and it will definitely not be possible to tell the winner in a short time. Therefore, Sumu didn't bother to continue watching the show, otherwise, if he came back for so long and didn't go back to the palace to find her, he might be fined and not allowed to leave the house for 3 days. Moria, for the next period of time, you will stay in the training room. I will let Ace instruct you on how to use the training equipment, venue and puppets. Sumu looked at Moria and said in a deep voice, I don't keep idlers on my boat. If you haven't improved your strength, and you can't get back your broken heart of the strong, then just wait and leave. Moria was like a chicken pecking at rice, and promised again and again. He didn't dare to run out alone, because that would be more dangerous. World government and Doflamingo are staring at him, going out is courting death. What are you still doing? Sumu glared at him, and Moria quickly ran into the training room. Newgate, take your time. I'll go back to the palace first, and we'll meet here in 3 days. Sumu said to Whitebeard. Any action in 3 days? Whitebeard's eyes lit up, and he was getting excited again. Well, it's time to see your old friend. Behind Sumu, the wings of the devil spread out and rushed directly to the sky. Who is it? Whitebeard asked aloud. Shiki. Sumu's voice came from afar. Shiki, is that guy going to make trouble again? Whitebeard grinned. Now it's funny. Daughter's Island, the Imperial Palace. Empress Boudoir. The Empress, who had always been aloof, blushed at this moment. In her hand, she held an embroidery needle. On the dresser in front of her were packed raincoats. But obviously, these raincoats have lost their function. Because the Queen's fierce operation just now pierced holes invisible to the naked eye in every raincoat. This is what my mother-in-law gave her embroidery needles a few days ago. She just made a phone call with Sumu yesterday to confirm that Sumu was coming back, so she started today. But looking at the pile of dozens of raincoats in front of her, her face turned red all of a sudden. Every raincoat is a negative distance and an opportunity. Sister, I heard that Master Sumu is back, and the pirate ship Resurrection has docked. The Empress sister reported to her. The Empress panicked all of a sudden, and hurriedly put back the pile of raincoats in front of her. I want to take a bath. Master Sumu also needs to take a bath after working hard all the way. Prepare it for us. The Empress ordered her servants. Then, the Empress ordered her younger sister again. Master Sumu will come back later, you just ask him to find me in my exclusive bath. Yes. Sandersonia gave the Empress a nasty smile, and hurried to stand guard at the gate of the palace. The Empress went back to the dressing table and sat down, opened Su Emu's exclusive drawer, grabbed a handful of raincoats, and hurriedly stuffed them into the clothes to hide. She walked to the fitting room, picked out the most transparent and coolest clothes, and then went to her own exclusive bath. Su Mu spread her wings from Daughter's Island and arrived at the entrance of the palace in a few minutes. Sandersonia stood beside him and asked playfully, Master Su Mu, I haven't returned for a long time, did you bring any presents for the younger sisters? Su Emu's face was full of question marks, feeling that Sandersonia is weird today. Normally, she would not be so 8 trigrams, let alone tease him. Su Mu ignored her and walked straight to the Empress' bedroom in the palace. Master Su Mu, you are too impatient. If you don't give gifts, I won't tell you where your sister is. Sandersonia smiled wickedly. Ahem, who's in a hurry, I'm just tired and want to rest early. Su Mu stopped her hurried steps, her mouth was stiff. Take a rest, isn't it the same? Sandersonia rolled her eyes at Su Mu. Give you. Su Mu had no choice but took out a beautiful colorful bead from her pocket and threw it to Sandersonia. He dug it out of a giant clam in the sea. Hee, thank you Master Su Mu. My sister has been waiting for you in the bath, don't hurry up. Sandersonia immediately told Su Mu. Call out. Su Mu disappeared from the spot, moved directly to the space, and saw the Empress bathing pool in the next second. The bath pool was dense and foggy, making it difficult to see the situation inside. Hancock. Su Mu shouted. No respond. The bath was quiet. Just as Su Mu was about to use observation hockey to detect the surroundings, he felt a gust of fragrant wind. Immediately afterwards, I felt my back soften, as if being entwined by extremely tough and elastic creatures. There is a touch of body temperature. Intimate. The next moment, Su Mu felt goosebumps on his neck. Wet hair fell down on his shoulders, and a blood-red lip bit his neck. The corner of Su Emu's mouth was raised, and she directly used her space ability, and disappeared from the entanglement of the beautiful, coquettish, and charming woman behind her. The next moment, he appeared directly behind the woman, and the two changed positions. I still prefer to be in the back, Su Mu said in an inaudible but subtle voice next to her ear. The woman in the arms didn't resist and let Su Mu do whatever she wanted. She raised her hand, and a raincoat appeared, shyly handing it to Su Mu. Haha, I didn't expect you to bring this. Su Mu couldn't help laughing out loud when she saw the object in the Empress' hands, very surprised. Help me put it on. Su Mu playfully instructed the Empress. This is the first time she has seen this thing, so let her have a long experience. The Empress didn't refuse, she was secretly happy. The plan is almost done. An hour later, Su Emu's rough voice suddenly sounded in the bath. Damn it, it's broken, it's leaking. Immediately afterwards, the sound stopped abruptly. Instead, there are rippling blue waves, roaring drums, and galloping horses. Chapter 90 Akainu is named commander, the Avengers Alliance is established. Advertise here. I can't stop the madness of bees and butterflies, and the tender pistils of yellow flowers are pitiful. Willow eyebrows frowning, bee waist swaying, how can we prevent the rain from rushing and the waves rushing? The heart of the flower is moving, the pistils are blooming, the ecstasy is gone, and the spring water springs up. Lotus arms stretched across the waist, pink legs wrapped around the waist, soft and weak, calling the man to love freely. At this time, only beautiful poetry can match this scene. Su Mu and the Empress have reached a state of selflessness. Dense mist, hazy and willful, how much autumn is there in the world? 3 days later. The resurrection pirate ship. Su Mu bid farewell to the Empress, mentally energized, but physically exhausted. Seeing Su Mu's appearance, the old guys all smiled strangely. Ahem, the weather is cold, everyone should wear more clothes. Su Mu coughed awkwardly, trying to dispel the weird atmosphere with boring words. However, everyone looked at each other in blank dismay. Ace's upper body is covered, where does it feel cold? Hawkeye's 8-pack abs were still sweating slightly. Whitebeard's topless, beastly body is still dressed like this even in the cold winter. Monet year-round tank top plus leggings. In pointed to the sun above his head, as if to indicate that it was only the beginning of autumn and the weather was still hot. Captain Su Mu, are you lying? Zephyr said maliciously. I suggest you go to the treatment room for treatment, don't suffer from kidney deficiency and lumbar muscle strain. The corners of Rayleigh's mouth curled up in a nasty way. These old guys. Su Mu raised her forehead, not wanting to be the object of their teasing. Sometimes he is also very strange, his body is obviously already very strong, even stronger than Admiral, almost on par with Whitebeard, but in just 3 days, how can he be hollowed out? After thinking about it, he realized that the ancients did not deceive me. There are only exhausted cows, no plowed fields. Okay, today is the time when people are most complete. Su Mu looked at everyone one by one, feeling overwhelmed. Whitebeard, Rayleigh, Ace, Moria, Hawkeye, Aokiji, Zephyr, as well as Monet and Ian. These people are his earliest forces. Although Monet and Ian are not strong enough at present, they have great potential, and devil fruit is very special. One is Logia snow fruit, and the other is Paramesh's retrogressive fruit. If the fruit is developed well, they will be two strong ones again. I believe everyone knows my identity, and I will not be a son-in-law here. I have also told everyone about my purpose. To be an enemy of the world government is to be an enemy of the world, but so what? The glory of the D family and the mission is not something I can convince people, it needs our fists to achieve. The ugly face of the celestial dragons, the corruption and darkness of the world government, relying on the people can't reveal the truth at all, even if I live broadcast and tell the world, how many people will believe it? In the final analysis, we still need to use force to come to the inherent shackles in the hearts of the people of the world. I can't do it alone, so I found you. Su Mu looked at the crowd and said in a deep voice. So, from today onwards, we will formally form an alliance. I am the captain, and you are all my companions. Su Mu has been thinking about this issue recently. He wants to have his own team, have his own slogan, and make his pirate ship famous in the sea. He wants the whole world to know that he is not just declaring in front of the live broadcast, but has already put it into action, and it is out of control until the rule of the world government is overthrown. Every pirate group has a famous name: Luogia Pirates, Whitebeard Pirates, Red-Haired Shanks, Beasts Pirates, etc., so do we. I thought hard these days and came up with a suitable name. The Avengers. We, more or less, all have hatred or conflict with the world government and celestial dragons, and now we gather together, it can be regarded as an alliance, so we took this name. Now, we are all members of the Avengers. I hope you will join me in making this sea riot and turning this world upside down. Su Mu's words are not very sonorous and forceful, but they make people feel excited. His words are provocative, and people want to go crazy with him as soon as they hear it, and do things they have never experienced. This is the release of the most primitive and wild passion deep inside. Hula lala. The sea has been calm for too long. Whitebeard laughed. Those little pirate brats, it's time to stop. Rayleigh smiled happily. It doesn't matter if the world is turned upside down or destroyed, this time, no one can stop me. Zephyr clenched his fists tightly. Just let me see with my own eyes whether there is really an unknown darkness hidden in the depths of the red line. Aokiji's eyes were firm. Everyone in the Avengers Alliance has a strong self-confidence on their faces. Okay, resurrection, let's set sail. Avengers, the first stop is Marineford. Let's see how the Golden Lion makes a big fuss in naval headquarters. Su Mu waved, and the resurrection set sail from Daughter Island. Marineford, naval headquarters. After more than a month of reconstruction, the naval headquarters building is back on its feet. However, not as powerful as before. Moreover, the building materials were improvised, so they were naturally not strong enough. Even so, the entire naval headquarters today is imposing with serious grooming and slogans. Because today, Marine's new marshal will officially take office. In front of naval headquarters, there is a conferment platform, which is where Akainu will be conferred as marshal by the world government. Under the investiture stage, there is a huge square in front of naval headquarters, already full of Marine soldiers. In the small area behind the conferment platform, there are senior Marines, vice admiral level and above powerhouses. Not long after, Akainu in a red suit stood up from his seat and walked towards the conferment stage under the eyes of all the audience. On the inauguration platform, world government officials were already standing there, holding the marshal's cloak and military authority in their hands. Outside the square, Marine warships lined up, and the salute sounded to congratulate the new marshal. Akainu came to the stage, respectfully took the symbol of power from the world government officials, and put the marshal cloak on his body. At this moment, Akainu officially became the Marine marshal. The tsunami roared from the mountains on the square, and the high-level executives behind the stage also stood up and applauded one after another. Akainu raised his hand, suppressed the noise, and said loudly, "From now on, Marine will be led by me. I hope you will support me, eliminate pirates, and protect peace." He paused, looked at the crowd and said, "There are 3 things that I want to make clear to everyone today. First of all, let us welcome the new elites who joined Marine, especially the 2 admirals, Fujitora and Green Bull. Green Bull is not here today because he is performing a special mission for the world government. I hope that the new admirals and elites will not be disgraced. Mission, justice behind you." With warm applause, many Marine elites stood up in the square, and a blind middle-aged man behind the conferment stage also stood up and nodded slightly to everyone. Second, kindness cannot wipe out pirates. My philosophy is iron and blood. I hope you can join me and resolutely obey orders. Don't steal, cheat, or have a heart of kindness. Third, I decided to relocate naval headquarters to New World and exchange with the G1 branch, so that I can face the big pirates of New World more directly and defeat them head-on. When Akainu took office, 3 fires were burned immediately. Gia ha ha ha, it seems that lousy is not too late. Suddenly, a violent voice sounded from the sky, and the entire conferment platform was covered by a shadow. Everyone looked up and saw a flying island floating above the square. Chapter 91 The Golden Lion shows off its power, Fujitora makes a move. Advertise here. The rough and domineering voice came from the sky, which was unavoidably shocking. Everyone looked up and saw an island floating in the sky, covered in darkness and covering the sky. Presumably the owner of that voice is on this floating island. But, what magical power can make an island float? Sengoku and Garp, the two semi-retired old guys, looked at each other with serious expressions. Gia ha ha ha. Fortunately, naval headquarters has not moved away, otherwise Lousy would have made a futile trip. The rough voice sounded again, and only then did everyone see a person flying out of the floating island. He has ground-length golden hair, like a lion's mane. He has a weird rudder inserted into his head, and he wears a traditional kimono with orange and yellow stripes. Strangely enough, he has no legs and uses two swords on his legs as feet. This person's face shape and shape are very strange. From a distance, it looks like a rooster. He has a wild expression, a rebellious posture. Even when he comes to naval headquarters, he is still fearless. At his feet was a large island with dense trees, mountains and water, full of vitality, and there were rumbles and roars of wild beasts from time to time. As soon as these words came out, everyone was sweating on their foreheads. Although this guy hasn't been seen in decades, his name has been spread in the sea. Special. Especially recently, this guy started to make trouble again. Golden Lion, you came here before we had time to arrest you. Very good, we don't need to bother to find you. Akainu was still on the conferment stage, his face was gloomy and he was very unhappy. The glorious moment of his tenure, even let the Golden Lion mess up. Gia ha ha ha, Garp, Sengoku, come out to Lousy. Golden Lion ignored Akainu at all, but searched for Garp and Akainu, two old rivals, with his rough voice. Bastard, Golden Lion, the officials of the world government are here today, and you made a big fuss in naval headquarters again. I don't think I need to arrest you anymore. Just killing you on the spot will show my marine power. Akainu said viciously. This is not his public revenge, but his consistent style. Even if the Golden Lion were to play naval headquarters another day, he would still make the decision. Who are you? You scolded Lousy. Golden Lion looked at Akainu and said dissatisfied. When he saw Akainu's martial cape, he suddenly realized that this gloomy middle-aged man was actually Marshal Marine. I didn't expect that in just 20 years, the Marine Marshal changed hands twice. Sengoku, you let me down so much that you let a nasty brat be the Marine Marshal. Golden Lion looked at Sengoku behind the crowd, and said with contempt. This is humiliating Akainu in public. The veins on Akainu's forehead bulged, his fist bangs, and he turned into magma directly. His face was so angry that oozes out traces of magma. Golden Lion, don't show off the prestige of the old times. There is no place for you in today's sea. The three legendary pirates. It's really a joke. It's ridiculous to die and hide while dying. Akainu said coldly respond to the Golden Lion, scolding him, as well as the old age. Gia ha ha ha. Today I came to find Garp and Sengoku. Since you insist on being arrogant, I have no choice but to kill you first. Golden Lion's eyes were cold, a powerful aura bloomed, and the violent wind blew the entire square. Great eruption. There is nothing to say, Akainu shot directly. The huge magma fist rushed to the sky, while attacking the Golden Lion, it also directly targeted the giant island under the Golden Lion. Lion Majesty. Earth coiling. Golden Lion resolutely fought back, using fluttering ability, and rolled up the ground around the entire conferment platform, forming 5 huge Earth Lions. Roar. The Earth Lion roared and charged Akainu directly from all sides. 3 lions blocked Akainu's lava fist with their bodies, and 2 lions pinched back and forth to tear Akainu apart. Akainu opened his arms, facing the 2 Earth Lions that were attacking. Canine Tooth Red Lotus. 2 dogs transformed from magma roared and collided with the Earth Lion, then tore and melted the Earth Lion. Lava fruit. Interesting. Golden Lion excited. It feels like this new marshal is not weak. Meteor Volcano. Akainu exerted his strength again, precisely controlling the magma, and each small magma fist fell from the sky, rushing towards the island of Golden Lion. You bastard, don't even think about it. Lion Majesty. Govern place Earth coiling. Golden Lion once again used its fluttering ability to stir up the sea around Marineford. Thick drops of water shot up from the sea, turning into water lions the size of houses. Dozens of water lions roared and killed them from all directions, biting the magma fists and destroying them one by one. Akainu hit again, and was broken by Golden Lion again. For a moment, the entire square was extremely quiet. Golden Lion was too imposing, single-handedly singled out naval headquarters, was so domineering, and even repelled the attacks of Marshal Marine continuously. Yoli, Golden Lion, I haven't seen you for many years, and you are still so domineering. Just let me meet you. Kizaru stood up. As soon as he finished speaking, his whole body became elemental, and with the golden light flashing, he disappeared and went straight to the Golden Lion in the sky. Call out. Almost in the blink of an eye, Kizaru was in front of the Golden Lion, and a lightsaber appeared in his hand, and he slashed at the Golden Lion. This is actually the use of the fruit ability, which has the same effect as his bare leg kick. In contrast, the Golden Lion raises its leg, and the Sakura wooden sword on the leg collides with Kizaru's lightsaber. The fruit ability is good, but it's a pity that the strength is not enough. Get out. Golden Lion exerted force, slashed down fiercely, and cut Kizaru from the sky to the ground. For a moment, the entire square was silent. Especially those young Marines, they have never seen the dominance and strength of the Golden Lion, they have only heard his legend, and now they finally see it, they can't help but feel extremely shocked. Marines' two highest combat powers has been repelled by him. This is the legendary pirate, the man who fought against Luo Jia. He came to naval headquarters by himself, so he really has the right to be tyrannical. Who can stop such a strong man? Garp was still sitting, not intending to make a move. Sengoku took a deep breath and was about to assume Buddha form when he caught sight of the blind admiral beside him standing up. He walked forward slowly, his steps were steady, without any momentum, but he attracted everyone's attention. Marine's trusted admiral, codenamed Fujitora, a blind man, is about to strike. Fujitora walked up to Akainu, stood still, stretched out his right hand, and slowly but firmly grasped the handle of the knife. He gently pulled out the knife, and the moment the handle of the knife slowly slid back, everyone felt an inexplicable palpitation. It's like riding a roller coaster. Boom. Suddenly, everyone was shocked to find that the Golden Lion floating in the sky was like a cannonball, smashing towards the ground at a very high speed. Hell Brigade. Gravity has increased countless times. Golden Lion was overwhelmed by the sudden force of gravity, and fell directly from the sky to the ground. Confused. Click. Fujitora closed the handle, and the ground where the Golden Lion was on the ground was suddenly pressed by strong gravity, directly forming a bottomless black hole, and the Golden Lion was pushed into the endless abyss. Chapter 92 The Golden Lion's Trump Card. The Appearance of the Beast Army. Advertise here. Marine Admiral Fujitora made a move, and in the blink of an eye, the domineering Golden Lion fell. Moreover, he didn't seem to make any moves, he just drew his sword symbolically, and then closed it. All of a sudden, there were countless discussions among the Marines in the square. Few people know what Fujitora's fruit ability is. But seeing the Golden Lion being directly pushed into the underground abyss, everyone also lamented how dangerous and magical Fujitora's fruit ability is. Akainu had a smile on his face, very satisfied with Fujitora's performance. A powerful pirate like Golden Lion couldn't take down even him and Kizaru, but Fujitora easily knocked down Golden Lion. He knew that Golden Lion would not be defeated so easily, but it was already very rare to embarrass that fierce rooster. 100 nautical miles away from Marineford Island, the pirate ship Resurrection is docked there. On the deck, Sumyu and everyone are watching a live broadcast. This is not long ago, Sumyu gave Morgans the best news, let him broadcast live. With Morgan's equipment and ubiquitous contacts, of course, a live broadcast was quickly arranged between the clouds. So, Sumyu doesn't need to go to naval headquarters to see the battle at all. When Golden Lion repelled Akainu and Kizaru in a row, Hawkeye, Ace, Moria and others were shocked. Sure enough, they were the legendary three great pirates. However, when everyone saw that Fujitora made a move and caused Golden Lion to stumble with one move, everyone gasped even more. Marine's new admiral, so strong. This Marine's new admiral, the fruit ability seems to be very special. Rayleigh sighed. That's right, the Golden Lion has the ability to float. It was originally floating in the air, but it was suddenly pushed into the ground by a huge force. It is really terrifying. This is Fujitora, right? Admiral is really scary. This guy is just taking over the vacant seat of Marine Admiral after Aokiji and Akainu left. Momonosuke's strength is still not enough. Everyone was also discussing, all of them were shocked by Fujitora's strength, only Sumyu remained calm as always. Captain Sumyu, even Dad was amazed, why aren't you surprised at all? Ace asked. Only then did everyone realize that Sumyu had been silent, with a relaxed expression, enjoying Monet's massage. What's the fuss about? Marine Admiral Fujitora is very powerful. His fruit ability is related to gravity, and it just restrains the Golden Lion's fluttering ability. Sumyu said lightly. After all, he is the one who knows the plot. Gravity ability. Isn't this too special? Aokiji looked unbelievable. Golden Lion was miserable this time. It just came to an abrupt end. Zephyr smiled to add insult to injury. When they were young, they played against each other quite often, but they always won the Golden Lion. At that time, in a one-on-one situation, he couldn't help each other. Akainu said just now that he wanted to kill the Golden Lion on the spot, so let's hurry over there. Moria eagerly suggested. This time, he finally got ahead of Hawkeye to give Sumyu advice. Only, it was clear that his judgment was poor. How could the famous Golden Lion be suppressed so easily? Moria, it's true that the ability of gravity can restrain Piao Piao's ability, but everything has two sides. Conversely, it can also be said that Piao Piao's ability can restrain gravity. Sumyu said with a smile. Just now, Golden Lion was just careless and didn't know Fujitora's ability. As soon as Sumyu finished speaking, the ground of naval headquarters began to shake, as if the entire Marineford Island was about to be uprooted from the sea. The ground shook and the mountains shook, and the momentum was frightening. Smile, use gravity to suppress, Golden Lion will destroy Marineford. Sengoku hastily reminded. He is well aware of the ability of the Golden Lion, if not stopped, the entire island will be pulled up from the sea by the fluttering ability of the Golden Lion. When the time comes, no one will be able to prevent the destruction of Marineford. Because Golden Lion will let the island fly to an altitude of 10,000 meters, and then suddenly withdraw its fluttering ability, allowing the entire huge island to fall freely. Fujitora drew his sword again, and the gravity force directly acted on the abyss that he pushed out, continuing to suppress the Golden Lion. However, he still underestimated the strength of the Golden Lion, and the entire Marineford island began to shake, as if it was being broken by the giant's hand. The makeshift naval headquarters has begun to crack. Leave the Golden Lion alone, hold down the entire island and don't go up. Sengoku reminded again. Fujitora changes the location of gravity and expands the range of gravity. But it's not what he's good at. His gravity often acts on one point, and then achieves a terrifying gravity effect, and there is no large-scale coverage of gravity. Especially the coverage of an entire island. But Golden Lion's fluttering ability often does this kind of thing, as long as it is touched by him, it seems to be able to float, even an island is no problem. But Fujitora tried his best to keep Marineford from being completely pulled out of the sea. Boom. The ground burst open, and a huge slashing wave shot up from the ground, cutting the cracked naval headquarters in half. This Bean Curd Dreg's temporary project is officially scrapped. And this is the third time naval headquarters has been destroyed in recent times. Golden Lion rushed up from the ground, with blonde hair flying around, and madness in his eyes. I hid for nearly 20 years. I originally wanted to destroy East Blue, but in the end I changed my mind. What's the use of destroying East Blue? I will still be labeled a loser. If that's the case, let's make a fuss naval headquarters once. 20 years of preparation, 20 years of anger, I will show you today. The Golden Lion flew in the air, and waved its palm downwards fiercely. The floating island lost its buoyancy from the sky and directly smashed towards Marineford. This is an island, even if it is not half the size of Marineford, if it is directly smashed, the entire Marineford will fall apart, and it may sink into the sea. Fujitora, Sengoku yelled, and he himself quickly turned into a Buddha form. Fujitora drew his sword this time, reversed the direction of gravity, and let gravity go in the opposite direction towards the sky, carrying the island that the Golden Lion smashed down. But this put more pressure on him. Even if he tried his best, he still couldn't stop the entire island from falling, but the speed was much slower. Finally, when the entire island was less than 100 meters away from Marineford, especially the location of naval headquarters, Sengoku blasted a shockwave violently. The huge force caused the entire island to fly, causing the entire island to stay in the sky for a short time. Gia ha ha ha, do you think I only have this backhand? The beast army, it's time to dispatch. The Golden Lion laughed, and then blew a low-frequency sound wave with an eerie whistle. In an instant, the entire island trembled, there was a loud bang, the thick trees were destroyed, and dust and smoke were everywhere. Everyone seems to hear that there are countless fierce beasts galloping. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Suddenly, one fierce beast jumped out of the island that was temporarily suspended in midair. Boom boom boom. The ferocious beasts fell to the ground one after another, smashing the entire Marineford island with a rumbling sound. Everyone in Marine was shocked, and the beasts rushed out of the island in the sky like dumplings, and there were tens of thousands of them in a blink of an eye. These ferocious beasts, the small ones are 4 or 5 bigger than humans, and the big ones can be as huge as a small house. Each of them is fierce and fierce. After landing, their eyes are scarlet, and they have a strong tendency to attack Marine. Is this the trump card that Golden Lion has prepared for 20 years? Whitebeard muttered to himself looking at the shocking picture in the live broadcast. If tens of thousands of huge beasts obey his commands, they will probably be stronger than 50,000 Marine elites. Aokiji sighed. Naval headquarters will be destroyed again, this time it will be completely. Hawkeye analyzed seriously. This is the Golden Lion, otherwise why is it as famous as Luogia and Newgate? Su Mu laughed, her eyes glowing. This kind of strong man should be boarded and used by me. Chapter 93 Garp's iron fist shatters the island. Advertise here. One after another fierce beasts fell on naval headquarters, tens of thousands of fierce beasts roared in a blink of an eye, the scene was too frightening. This battle is more terrifying than when the Whitebeard pirates charged Marine in the Summit War. Giant beasts looked at the densely packed Marine elites in the square, with greedy hunger in their scarlet eyes. Golden Lion hadn't fed the beasts for 3 days. Gee ha ha ha, enjoy this feast and eat all of Marine. Golden Lion laughed wildly. Under his command, the ferocious beast moved and rushed towards the Marine elite in the square. In an instant, the ferocious beasts fought with the Marine elite. Today is the grand ceremony for Akainu's appointment, and almost all the main elites of Marine are here, so there are almost 50,000 Marine elites in the square. Almost every one of these elites has a small position, such as Ensign Lieutenant Junior grade, etc., and they are all masters in Marine. However, facing the fierce beast, they felt fear in their hearts. These ferocious beasts are full of evil spirits, and each of them has survived after a long period of fighting. This is the achievement of Golden Lion over the years. All the weak beasts have been eliminated, and the rest are strong and ferocious. These beasts are not much weaker than the beasts on the island that Rayleigh trained for Luffy, and there are very few beasts that are even stronger than those before the Luffy Summit War. This is completely the combat power of a group of Straw Hat pirates. Tens of thousands of ferocious beasts fought with Marine elites, and it was extremely cruel in an instant. Both marine elites and ferocious beasts were instantly blood-stained and died. However, ferocious beasts are not afraid of death, but marine elites cannot be like ferocious beasts. Although they have an advantage in numbers, their aura is completely suppressed. They were scattered by the fierce beasts, and they retreated steadily. In a blink of an eye, marines' casualties were far greater than those of the beasts. Quick, stop these ferocious beasts. Akainu shouted, commanding the marine vice-admirals to rush into the group of ferocious beasts. Boom. In the middle of the sky, the island that was temporarily stopped by Sengoku's impact began to fall again. Apparently, Sengoku's blaster didn't work. Akainu and Kizaru were sullen, they couldn't make a move. Akainu's meteor volcano and Kizaru's 8-foot Chonguyu are both group attack moves. Although they can attack the landed island, they are not deadly enough. A small-scale and large-scale attack may not prevent the island from eventually hitting Marineford. In times of crisis, Garp stood up. The old guy watched the play for a long time, and finally decided to end it. He stepped up to Sengoku, like a dwarf, smaller than Sengoku's legs. However, the next moment, Garp's muscles swelled, and a black air flow lay all over his body. That's armament hockey. It's armament hockey almost to the top. I clenched my fist, the fist was as black as ink, containing inexplicable power. Boom. Garp stomped hard, and the whole ground collapsed, but he shot out like a cannonball, heading towards the island where he landed. His fist, armament hockey, is thick enough to drip black ink. From a distance, Garp is an ant relative to the falling island. An ant to an elephant. The ant jumped hundreds of meters, flew from the ground to the air, and quickly came to the island. He didn't make any sound, nor yelled any slogans, and simply punched directly. Iron Fist. This is his trademark. It is also his famous skill. His armament hockey doesn't need to be deliberately activated, just like the scene is stored in muscle cells, raising his hand as the attack of armament hockey. Otherwise, Luffy, who is a rubber man, would be beaten out by Garp's Iron Fist at any time, and he screamed in pain. Now, Garp actually rushed towards the huge island, and directly and simply used his Iron Fist to smash fiercely on the island. Boom. The loud noise shook the sky. This loud noise made those ferocious beasts tremble. Tiny Garp collides with the giant landing island with his Iron Fist. The landing island was fixed in the air. Click. The sky, there is a cracking sound. Everyone was shocked to discover that the huge island began to split from the middle. Boom. Immediately afterwards, there was a loud noise, and the entire island shattered into 4 pieces. This scene deeply shocked everyone. Garp shattered an island with one punch. Kulalalala. This reminds me of Garp when he fought Green Pepper, when he could knock down a mountain with one punch. Whitebeard yelled excitedly. He is happy that Garp's strength has not declined. Today, he benefits from the help of Su Mu. The state has also returned to its peak, and it is the time of high spirits. Meeting Garp again seems to bring back infinite memories of my youth. This monster has exercised his body to ultimate. Zephyr was also amazed, because he was getting older and his condition was seriously declining, but Garp did not have this trend. Despite their similar age, Garp seems to be in his prime. Senior Garp is a marine hero and a role model for all marines. It's not surprising that he can smash an island with one punch. Aokiji still showed respect for Garp in his eyes. Back in the day, Luogia and Garp fought countless times. Even Luogia didn't take advantage of it. On the contrary, Luogia was often cornered by Garp, which shows how much this old guy expressed his opinion. Rayleigh recalled once upon a time, there were infinite emotions. At that time, Garp chased Luogia all over the world, and Rayleigh also dealt with other powerful marines, and he could always watch their battles from the sidelines. Grandpa's Iron Fist is invincible in the world. Luffy and I have been beaten a lot. Ace grinned. Look very happy. Garp is also a member of the D family. I don't know how he will feel after knowing the identity of Captain Su Mu. It would be great if Garp could quit Marine and join our Avengers Alliance. Analyze. Indeed, Su Mu had already thought so. Monkey family. However, the left protectors of the D group are all at the level of their opinions. If Garp is willing to follow the mission of the blood and support Su Mu, then undoubtedly, the strength of the Avengers will be raised to a higher level. But based on Su Mu's understanding of Garp, he is not so easy to shake his justice. You have to plan slowly. 8-foot Chonguyu. Meteor volcano. Shockwave. Gravity rebound. Kizaru, Akainu, Sengoku, and Fujitora moved quickly, right on the island that was shattered into 4 pieces by Garp, and blasted the 4 huge pieces into slag to prevent the marines from being hurt. Gee ha ha ha. Garp, have you finally made a move? Golden Lion looked at Garp in midair and laughed, very happy that this archenemy is still strong. Shiki, this time, the new marshal has spoken. If you don't run, you're going to die here. Garp, in freefall from the sky, still calm, responded to the Golden Lion. Escape. Jayahaha. Luogia has never escaped, and Laozi will not be ashamed. Today, if the naval headquarters is not completely destroyed, and the marine elite is not killed, I will never stop. Golden Lion went crazy, but he didn't care about the consequences. Then I'll send you to see Luogia. Akainu roared loudly, leaping into the sky. The red dog-toothed lotus attacked directly, biting the Golden Lion. Chapter 94 Golden Lion vs Akainu. Advertise here. Akainu took the initiative to kill Golden Lion quickly. Otherwise, these beasts cannot be stopped, and the marine elite will suffer heavy losses. Only by defeating the Golden Lion can these beasts be left unchecked. Canine-toothed Red Lotus opened its bloody mouth and bit Golden Lion directly. The huge red dog head was not as big as a house. Little devil, you seem to look down on us in the old days. I heard that in the Summit War, Whitebeard was seriously injured by you. Are you arrogant? With murderous intent in Golden Lion's eyes, he swung his right leg at the charging dog's head. Slash wave. A huge slash cut through the canine-toothed Red Lotus, rushed straight down, and cut the entire confinement platform in half. Little devil, what's the point of bullying Whitebeard's old age and terminal illness? I heard that he was resurrected, and even returned to his peak. If you really have the strength, why don't you go to him? Golden Lion said coldly. He resents people belittling their old-timers. Even if he and Whitebeard were competitors, it was because of their respective positions and ambitions, which did not hinder his appreciation of Whitebeard. Let me find Luogia. Kid, do you know why Luogia became the One Piece? Golden Lion's face became colder and colder, and he continued, because he defeated me and Whitebeard, because only he reached the final island, he conquered this sea, and was recognized by all pirates. Such a person is the only one in the world. Even if you die, you can't take it lightly. Golden Lion took the initiative to fly to Akainu. At this moment, his golden hair fluttered, Conqueror's haki bloomed, and he had the aura of swallowing heaven and earth. This is the state where he is competing with Luogia, and it is also the strongest state he has shown by forcefully squeezing his body. He wants to let the Marine Marshal know that the strong of the old era cannot be insulted. The times are advancing, and the rotten ones will eventually decline. Whether it's because of age or injuries, the decline in combat power and death are facts, indisputable. Akainu landed again and confronted the Golden Lion. He, as one of the strongest combat forces in the Marine, as the Marshal, is there a time when he is intimidated by the enemy? Moreover, he is full of confidence in his own strength. Today, I will bring back the glory of the old era. Brat, wake up. I, the Golden Lion, will lose my life today, and I will kill you too. The Golden Lion fell from the sky condescendingly, and the knives on both legs quickly slashed towards Akainu. But without exception, all were blocked by Akainu with Armament Haki's Magma Fist. The two fought violently, the knife and the Magma Fist collided fiercely, and Armament Haki also collided. This seems to be the most direct dialogue between the strong men of the old era and the new era, both of whom are representatives of their respective eras. Golden Lion's hair is flying wildly. Ever since he cut off his own legs and escaped from Impel Down, he has tied his two famous 21 swords, Sakuragi and Kuju, to his legs and practiced swordsmanship with his legs for 20 years. Today, he can fencing with his legs as much as he used to with his hands. The two famous swords were full of swords, and Armament Haki dyed them into black swords, leaving one cut after another on Akainu's body. Akainu's Magma Fist attacked Wushwang, causing Golden Lion to bleed. But overall, the Golden Lion had the upper hand, making Akainu's injury worse. However, after all, Akainu's body is at its peak, and the blood is too thick. These injuries are not fatal. For a powerhouse of their level, fighting for another day and night is no problem. The two fought violently, and the other Marines were naturally busy fighting the fire and fending off the beast. Golden Lion can be regarded as a great swordsman. This kind of swordsmanship has benefited me a lot. Hawkeye's eyes were shining, staring at Golden Lion's swordsmanship, comparing with himself, and constantly learning new swordsmanship. Dark Hound. After a long time, Akainu finally seized the opportunity and suddenly used a killer move at close range. The black Dark Hound rushed towards the Golden Lion like a dragon's claw. During the Summit War, Whitebeard was seriously injured by the Dark Hound. On the pirate ship Resurrection, Whitebeard felt a dull pain on one side of his face. Akainu's Dark Hound made him miserable, and directly knocked out half of his face. His chest was also directly pierced because of Dark Hound. This is Akainu's absolute killer move, it's too powerful. Slash wave. Golden Lion is still in peak form, seeing Dark Hound rushing forward suddenly, slashing at a high speed, and a slash containing Armament Haki collided with Dark Hound. Boom. The powerful slash did not cut through Dark Hound, and was directly bounced aside by Dark Hound. With the buffer of Slash Wave, Dark Hound's extreme speed was slightly delayed, and Golden Lion dodged and dodged. At this moment, he had to be dignified, the brat in his eyes was very powerful. The black Dark Hound gave him a feeling of palpitations, even his powerful Slash Wave could repel it. Akainu would not let go of this opportunity, leapt forward, narrowed the distance to the Golden Lion again, took aim at the gap where the Golden Lion was evading, and cast Dark Hound again. Dark Hound. Akainu cast both arms at the same time, and the two Dark Hounds rushed towards the Golden Lion. This time, Golden Lion didn't have time to cast Slash Wave, so he had to raise his legs and put his two knives in front of him to block Dark Hound. Boom. Dark Hound slammed into Sakura and Kuju fiercely, and the huge force knocked Golden Lion into the air. The Sakura and Kuju hit Golden Lion's chest, causing him to vomit blood, and, times, was printed on his chest-shaped cuts. This blow injured Golden Lion and damaged his aura, and he began to fall back from his peak state. He has been fighting Akainu for 3 hours, and his physical strength has begun to decline, and the peak will no longer last. Shiki is not in a good state. If he drags on, he will definitely lose. Whitebeard sighed. He really didn't want Golden Lion to fail. After all, as a contemporary, when the years were ruthless and the body deteriorated, it gave people a kind of sadness of a hero's twilight. At the Summit War back then, his health was extremely bad, and he and his sons issued the final captain's order, very unwilling and reluctant. He can understand this feeling of powerlessness. Today, after the Golden Lion's brief peak, the body still can't handle the load. The inverted Golden Lion stabilized his body and stayed in the air, panting violently, looking at Akainu coldly. Now, he can finally feel the pain of Whitebeard's Summit War. Compared to Whitebeard, his body has been much better. He only has a head injury, other injuries are not fatal, only the aging of the body. Golden Lion, a remnant of the old era, there is no boat to carry you forward, just like Whitebeard and Luo Jia. Don't struggle, just capture it, this era belongs to us. Akainu leapt high and chased after the Golden Lion to finish it off. Jia, ha ha ha, the Golden Lion, will never admit defeat, isn't it just death? What's so scary? The old era can still bloom, start with me. Golden Lion took a deep breath, tensed his whole body, concentrated all his physical strength, and wrapped the armament hockey all over his body around the 2 knives at a very high speed. Lion. Thousand Slice Valley. Golden Lion shouted. Black slash waves descended from the sky one after another, densely packed, filling the entire sky with black. The slash seemed to cut through the air, and with the level and strength unique to armament hockey, it drowned Akainu. Boom boom boom. On the ground, violent crashes sounded one after another. It was the terrifying sound of the Golden Lion's black slash wave chopping on the ground. Akainu, who was jumping in midair, was also slashed to the ground by this terrifying slash wave, and was continuously slashed by the endless slash wave, cutting him in the ground within a radius of several nautical miles into a bottomless ravine. Chapter 95 The Avengers Debut, Sumu cut off Marineford. Advertise here. Golden Lion slashed with all his strength at the end, cutting out a huge gully in the entire central area of naval headquarters. As for Marine Marshal Akainu, he disappeared from everyone's sight and was driven into the ground by that terrifying slash, his life and death unknown. This is the most powerful and angry blow of Golden Lion, and the resulting picture is also extremely subversive. Aren't you kidding me? Sakazuki lost. Kizaru's expression was not calm. He is very aware of how strong Akainu is, and he didn't expect it to turn out like this. Sakazuki. Can't stop it. Sengoku, who was fighting off the beast, stopped, staring blankly at the bottomless ravine. Golden Lion's strenuous blow has some meaning. It's just that I don't know how much it can hurt Akainu. Whitebeard clenched his fists tightly, worried for the Golden Lion. Summit War. He pressed Akainu's head to the ground and bombarded him with shock ability, but did not do anything to Akainu. At that time, it may be because of his body, but also because Akainu's blood is too thick. Golden Lion's physical condition is obviously better than that of him in the Summit War, and the slash just now is more powerful than he was then, so even he is cheering for Golden Lion. This is the face of the strong in the old days, more important than life and death. Sakazuki can't die, but it's not easy. Aokiji said calmly. He has the right to speak, because he has fought against Akainu and knows the extent of Akainu's defense. After all, people have to submit to the years. Golden Lion is the same, his body is old and irreversible, and he is not much better than Newgate before the Summit War. This battle, he lost. Even though Akainu was seriously injured, he couldn't die. When he comes out from the ground again, the situation will be reversed. Su Mu said slowly. He has also fought with Akainu, and he knows that Akainu's body is resistant to beatings, and even with an attack of the level of the Golden Lion, he still cannot kill Akainu. As long as he can't be killed all at once, Akainu can come back again. Captain Su Mu, shall we wait until the Golden Lion is dead? Moria asked. He knew the purpose of Su Mu's coming to watch the battle, of course, was to subdue the Golden Lion. But how could such a rebellious guy surrender so easily? He can only be killed. As long as he is dead, he will be 100% obedient if he is no longer defeated by Su Mu. This is his personal experience. No, that kind of Golden Lion is not what I want. Without his unruly soul, he is not him. Let's go, the Avengers, it's time to make their debut. With a big wave of Su Mu's hand, the pirate ship Resurrection sailed in the sea at a very high speed, and soon arrived at the Marineford Island, landed from the sea, turned into a huge land tank, and headed towards the center of the battle. Fujitora, capture the Golden Lion now. Sengoku reminded loudly. Fujitora rushed to the Golden Lion immediately, and blasted the Golden Lion away with one move of the Gravity Tiger. Golden Lion, whose power is almost exhausted, has no extra strength to fight against Fujitora, so facing Fujitora's attack, he can only passively defend and be suppressed to death. He was dealing with the last will and strength, even so he did not retreat. His ferocious beast legion is still wreaking havoc, eating away at the Marine elite, but it has begun to show signs of decline. Marine's high-level strong support, such as Garp, Sengoku, Kizaru, Crane, Momonosuke, and other vice admirals, these beasts are being suppressed. Today, Golden Lion's 20-year preparation seems to have seen the end of failure. He wasn't upset though, because naval headquarters was ruined. Marines elite was also killed thousands of people by his beast army. Marines Marshal was severely slashed by him, and his life is still uncertain. It can be said that he alone turned naval headquarters upside down. Made money. Golden Lion knew he was powerless to turn the tables, but he didn't intend to leave. With his special ability, there is still a chance to escape, but he chose to stay. 10 minutes later, an exhausted and wounded Golden Lion fell to the ground, powerless to fend off Fujitora's attack. Gia ha ha ha, now I'm really going to see Luo Gia. But, I'm not ashamed. Golden Lion laughed, still very free and easy. Shiki, it's over. Buddha body Sengoku came over, with mixed emotions in his eyes. But in the end, he still raised his palm, ready to use the shockwave to give me a heavy blow to Golden Lion, completely cutting off his resistance. Underground, flames were churning. After resting and recovering for more than 10 minutes, Akainu seemed to have regained consciousness and was able to act. Although he was extremely weak, he was extremely angry and wanted to come out from the ground and kill the Golden Lion. However, just as he wanted to move, he felt the ground shaking, as if a giant battleship was walking. This made him frown, and quietly poked out the observation hockey, and then suppressed his urge to come out from the ground. Rumble. The earth shook, and a giant chariot suddenly came to the edge of the battlefield. Su Mu was outside the car, opposite Sengoku. Su Mu. Sengoku was shocked. This is bad. Su Mu took advantage of the chaos and came to naval headquarters. With his current power, the entire Marineford might be lost. Sure enough, besides Su Mu, Whitebeard, Rayleigh, Zephyr, Hawkeye, Moria, and Ace stepped forward one after another. As for Aokiji, he didn't choose to shoot this time. He still has a friendship with Marine, and he doesn't want to fight with each other. Sengoku, keep someone under your command, I want the Golden Lion. Su Mu said domineeringly, speaking to Inspector Marine with an unquestionable tone. Sengoku ignored Su Mu, but looked at Zephyr and sighed. Sure enough, as Morgan's news said, you were resurrected by Su Mu and joined them. Sengoku, stop being hypocritical. From the day first left Marine, we will have the situation we have today. When Marine surrounded and suppressed me, our two sides have already torn skins. Now that I joined Su Mu, I finally understand that my personal power is too small, and only with them can I do what I want and can do. Zephyr said coldly. He's not like Aokiji, but he's really up for it. Hulalala. Shiki, long time no see, you're getting old too. Whitebeard greeted Golden Lion. Golden Lion looked at Whitebeard in front of the chariot, and sneered, did you come to see my joke? Shiki, I have always admired you. It is really amazing to enter naval headquarters alone and achieve such an effect. I came here with Captain Su Mu, and he wants to recruit you as one of us. Whitebeard said loudly. Captain Su Mu, subdue me, are you kidding me? Golden Lion said angrily, what qualifications do you have? I haven't even surrendered to Luo Gia, so what are you? Haha. You will know soon whether I am qualified or not. Behind Su Mu, the wings of the devil spread. He flew up from the resurrection, looked directly at the sky above Marineford, and laughed loudly, space is king. He used the space ability. A huge space slash fell from the sky, like a transparent mirror, directly slashing down the entire Marineford. Call out. There is no loud sound, only the brisk sound of cutting tofu with a knife. Rumble. The entire Marineford shook, and began to split from the place where Su Mu fell down. A fissure several hundred meters wide has opened through Marineford. The entire Marineford has been cut in half. Only when the space ability reaches its peak, can it really reflect the power of space being king. Thanks to the big guys who gave the gift, it cost a lot, thank you. Chapter 96 hit until Marine collapses. Advertise here. This is a long chapter. Su Mu's space slash directly sliced through Marineford, splitting the entire island in two. The sea water poured backwards, pouring in from the huge crack. From a distance, Marineford appears to be two islands. As for the temporary naval headquarters building, it is long gone. It was cut in half by the Golden Lion, cut in half by Su Mu's space, and sank into the big crack. Now, I really have to move. Su Mu's domineering shot sent shivers down Sengoku's spine. This spatial ability seems to be stronger, making him feel a great threat. If the slash just now fell on him, the consequences would be disastrous. Golden Lion opened his mouth wide, as if he couldn't believe that this exaggerated silent slash was much more powerful than his slash wave. Shiki, how are you? Su Mu asked jokingly. Golden Lion didn't speak, and replaced his recognition of Su Mu's strength with silence. However, if he is asked to surrender to others, he still resists in his heart. Even though he knew that Whitebeard seemed to have joined Su Mu's command and considered Su Mu as the captain, but his character decided that after he became full-fledged, he would never become someone else's subordinate. Are you still dissatisfied? Very good, that's what I like about you. Su Mu was not angry, this was what he had expected. The Golden Lion cannot be easily conquered. Shiki, your beast army is very good, but it is still not enough to look at Marine. After 20 years of hard work, it has failed in the end. Open your eyes and see how the Avengers defeated Marine. With a wave of Su-Emu's hand, everyone on the pirate ship Resurrection looked at each other, gearing up excitedly. Are they finally going to play? Hulalalala. Where is Akainu? Come out for me. Whitebeard was the first to speak, jumping off the pirate ship Resurrection. His shocking ability exploded, directly attacking the ground, shaking the entire Marineford. He wants to force Akainu out of the ground. Unfortunately, Akainu was not seen. Even when Whitebeard leaned out of observation hockey to search, Akainu was not found at all within a radius of 1 kilometer. HMPH, you escaped fast enough. But how long can you hide? I will catch you eventually. Whitebeard said, dissatisfied. He is now the pinnacle, the real strongest man in the world. Of course, except for Su-Mu. He's here at naval headquarters now and can defy all. Because he no longer fights alone, he has powerful companions. Whitebeard, the old man is your opponent. Garp rushed over, blocking Whitebeard's attempts to get to the plaza. There are tens of thousands of marine elites fighting fierce beasts. If Whitebeard crashes into the past, it will be absolutely devastating to the marine elites. Hulalala. Garp, you old guy is the only person whose physical condition has not declined among the strong in the old era. Now, only you are worthy to fight against me at the peak. Whitebeard yelled excitedly, and rushed to Garp, wanting to experience the hardy battle. Between the two ceilings of power, a battle that lasted for decades began. Marine Admiral Fujitora, Mihawk asks you for advice. Hawkeye went straight to Fujitora, trying to gauge his sword and gravity abilities. Since joining the Avengers, Hawkeye has also spent a lot of time in the training room, which has greatly improved his sword skills. So now the opponents in his eyes, except for the Marine Admiral level powerhouses, he can no longer see others. Kizaru, it seems that we still have to continue the unfinished battle of the Sabayati archipelago. Rayleigh drew his sword and faced Kizaru. Zephyr looked at Sengoku, then looked away again. He walked to the square, looking for the Marine Vice Admirals, those Vice Admirals who had besieged and killed him. After several months of training, how far have I grown? It seems that Marine Alternate Admiral Momonosuke is the most suitable opponent. Ace spread his flame wings and charged directly at Momonosuke. Moria looked around and saw that Marine had a head and a face. Except for a few Vice Admirals who fought with the beasts, only Sengoku and Crane remained. Moria has seen Sengoku's strength before. One person with one shock wave can beat all members of the Blackbeard Pirates to vomit blood. He asked himself, definitely not an opponent. But everyone has chosen an opponent. If he loses the chain, wouldn't it be embarrassing? Anyway, I used to be a tough person with Kaido. Although he hasn't made any progress in these years, he is at least a Shichibukai level powerhouse. He can't deal with Sengoku, but he should be fine with an old lady, right? So, Moria excitedly went to the crane. Now, only Sengoku is left as the strong marine. As for the Avengers, apart from Aokiji who can't fight, the only one who can fight is Su-Mu. Sengoku, just stay there and don't move. If you don't make a move, I can allow you to watch the show. Su-Mu folded her arms, looking relaxed and content. The Avengers were dispatched to extract all the high-level powerhouses of Marine and relieve the pressure of the Golden Lion's Beast Army. In this way, the battle on the square regained its balance, and the beasts once again had a chance to breathe, and once again dealt heavy blows to the Marine elite. Su-Mu, world government's reinforcements are coming soon. Don't think that you can take this opportunity to severely damage Marine. When the other legions of world government surround you, you will definitely suffer serious damage. Sengoku vowed. Oh, you have no chance to contact the world government. Hee. I see, Morgans. Su-Mu sneered. Sure enough, Morgans eats on both sides of him and the world government, and he has both sides. This time the Avengers came to Marineford, and Morgans has reported this important information to the world government. But Su-Mu has no fear. Because it will take time for the world government to come over. By that time, he had subdued the Golden Lion, and his goal had been achieved. As for defeating Marine, he just thought about it. After all, there was not much difference in strength between the two sides. Moreover, Su-Mu doesn't want to suppress Marine too badly, because many people in Marine still support this world, not the world government. Maybe, Marine will still be on his side in the future. The premise is to kill some diehards and loyal supporters of the world government. Sengoku, let's start with you. Su-Mu finally decided to attack Sengoku. Shockwave. Sengoku was already prepared, the huge palm of the Buddha's body slapped out, and a powerful shock wave hit Su-Mu. Beside Su-Mu, a transparent space barrier appeared, blocking the shock wave. Space bomb. Su-Mu cast the space ability, and the space bomb exploded directly on Sengoku, making him stagger. Although he coughed up blood from the corner of his mouth, the golden body did not break the defense. Su-Mu, my golden body of Buddha, defense is invincible. Sengoku was confident. This time he didn't use a shock wave, but directly raised his fist, using a rough but aimed at Su-Mu directly. His golden body doesn't need armament hockey to have the hockey effect at all, and its power is amazing. Defense is invincible. That's because I didn't encounter any sharp things. In Su-Mu's hand, a heavy black heavy knife appeared. Call out. He swung straight out, and the golden path appeared, slashing at the slow-moving Sengoku. Boom. The kote strip stretches horizontally, cutting off one of Sengoku's arms. Blood spewed out. Sengoku's golden body was broken, and his whole body returned to human form, tightly grasping the broken arm wound to stop the bleeding. The golden road can cut even the gate of justice, let alone your golden body. Sengoku, in fact, my space ability can also break your golden body. Not only that, I have other ways to break through. In front of me, don't talk about the strongest defense, don't talk about the strongest offense, no one is qualified. Su Mu stood in the air and said to Sengoku condescendingly. At this time, the entire battlefield also began to change quietly. The strong marine was blocked by the Avengers, and the battle between those elites and the beasts seemed very difficult and miserable. Ferocious beasts are not afraid of death or pain, each of them has rough skin and thick flesh, and is extremely powerful. And marine elites, those below Lieutenant Commander, couldn't stop them at all. After a while, the marine elite was at an absolute disadvantage, and thousands more died. This is a huge hit for marine. Today, they did not gather 100,000 elite fighters like some at war, so facing tens of thousands of beasts, without strong support, they will inevitably fall into a desperate situation of collapse. No. Just kidding. Marine. Going to collapse. Golden Lion looked at the whole battlefield and muttered to himself. Although he was a great help in this, it was mainly the arrival of the Avengers, which instantly reversed the situation and was the most critical force for Marine's collapse. Chapter 97 Golden Lion on board, news from Rocks. Advertise here. With the Avengers participating in this battle, the situation was reversed instantly. Once the powerful combat power at the top of Marine is stopped by the Avengers on Weibo, Marine's elite will face the threat of this beast. And, not long after, Marco came to Marineford with the captains of the Whitebeard pirates. This is a powerful force. The other vice admirals in naval headquarters were all blocked by Marco and others, which made the remaining strong players of the Marine elite very stretched. Golden Lion's ferocious beast army has a better room to play, and defeated Marine with a comprehensive advantage. Faced with this situation, Sengoku's eyes are weak. He had his left arm cut off by Su Mu, so he couldn't protect himself, and he couldn't take care of the Marine elite who was in dire straits. Sakazuki, what are you waiting for? Sengoku muttered. He can be sure that Akainu is not dead, but with his resilience and ability to withstand blows, after so long, he should be able to come out, right? However, he didn't even see the shadow of Akainu. Now, Marine is in dire straits, and their top management is okay and able to support them. However, Marine, which was attacked by the Beast and Marco, is in crisis. Garp was blocked by the Peak Whitebeard. The two fought fiercely, and it was difficult to tell the winner in a short time. As for the other powerhouses in Marine, they are all fighting with all their strength and have no time for others. This is the status quo, and Marine is on the verge of collapse. Shiki, have you taken it now? Su Mu asked again. Golden Lion didn't speak, his heart was already contradictory. Su Mu's combat power and influence far surpassed him. Normally speaking, it seems appropriate for him to obey Su Mu, and he will not fall into the trap. However, he is one of the 3 legendary pirates, and he uses Luo Jia as a benchmark all the time. Can he also submit to others? It's just that in front of him, if he doesn't surrender, he may only die and live a worthless life. This is what he doesn't want. Whitebeard was able to surrender, which had puzzled him before, but now he seemed to understand. Whitebeard's demanding protection of his family, Su Mu's resurrection of Ace, and his strong strength and influence have helped him achieve it. Therefore, he will pursue personal adventures and choose to surrender to others again. But what is his goal as Golden Lion? Revenge. Revenge on Marine is true revenge on the world. Now that he has been preparing for 20 years, the revenge operation has achieved satisfactory results, but it is too regrettable. Without Su Mu, his final outcome would still be death. Not reconciled. There was still the voice of this cry echoing in his heart. Who does not wish for complete success? Leave regrets. After all, it still fails. Don't hesitate. Only I can help you realize your wish, just look at the current situation. Su Mu walked to the side of Golden Lion, looked at the weak Golden Lion, and said in a deep voice. Then let me give you another pair of wings to help you take off. Su Mu raised his hand and patted on Golden Lion's shoulder lightly. The power of resurrection surged and passed through Su Mu's arm to the Golden Lion's body. Yes. Golden Lion felt a warm current wandering in his body, repairing the wounds in his body at a very fast speed, which made him look satisfied and confident. He finally understands now that Whitebeard was resurrected by Su Mu. I finally know the reason for Whitebeard's boundless vitality afterwards. Su Mu's ability. It's amazing. After a while, all the wounds on Golden Lion's body fully recovered, and his physical strength also recovered 7 or 88 along with the recovery of the wounds on his body. It all goes hand in hand. Golden Lion's body was full of strength again. However, Su Mu did not stop, but continued to channel the power of resurrection. He's going to reverse the Golden Lion's physicality, as he did with Whitebeard, toward the peak. Golden Lion was shocked, and felt the change in his physical state, which made his heart beat faster. This kind of change, I am afraid that no matter who is excited, it is impossible to refuse. This is the pinnacle, who can have it again? Su Mu stopped, and in the end, he didn't completely bring Golden Lion back to the top, but kept a hand. Hanging the Golden Lion like this. It's more attractive. Shiki, go and accomplish your goal. Su Mu said provocatively, making Golden Lion stand up involuntarily and walk towards Sengoku. In his current state, he has no problem beating Sengoku, whose arm was cut off by Su Mu. After that, he can enter the square and lead his army of beasts to completely defeat Marine. So, his wish came true. He jumped up like a golden lion, and the sword under his feet slashed towards Sengoku fiercely, making Sengoku extremely embarrassed. Su Mu now has no opponent. So I found a stone on the side to sit and watch the show. Anyway, with the current situation, Marine is about to collapse. Captain Su Mu, thank you. When the golden lion went away, the voice came back. He has surrendered from the bottom of his heart. He considers Su Mu as his captain. Blue blue blue. Blue blue blue. Su Mu's exclusive phone buzzed and was opened by Morgan's. Su Mu sneered, but still connected the phone. Master Su Mu, I have some breaking news for you. On the phone bug side, Morgan's was very excited, just in time to perform in front of Morgan's. Regarding this, Su Mu sneered in her heart, but said lightly on the surface, tell me, what's the matter? Master Su Mu, I have definite news about the frozen prisoner I told you about last time. Morgan smiled obsequiously. Oh, tell me quickly, Su Mu said hastily. This is one of his biggest concerns. According to my surveillance and painstaking investigations, I have concluded that the frozen prisoner is none other than Rox, the overlord of the sea for decades. Morgan said mysteriously. Rox. Su Mu was surprised. Looks a little lost. He thought that the frozen prisoner would be his relative, but it wasn't. As if seeing Su Mu's disappearance, Morgan's continued. However, according to my eavesdropping, the senior officials of the world government seem to say that Rox knows important information about someone from the Zichuan family. It is said that that person is still alive. What? Who is it? Su Mu stood up excitedly. At this moment, he was really excited. Are his relatives still alive? He remembered that his mother died in front of his eyes, and he also heard the general of the Zichuan family say that his father and big brother were killed in the war. Could it be that the information is wrong? Lord Su Mu, it is said that he is a guy named Ming Huang. Morgans whispered over there, observing Su Mu's expression. Seeing that Su Mu was so excited that he couldn't control himself, he was sure that this news was absolutely attractive to Su Mu. So Morgans continued. The world government is going to send Rox to Impel Down. Liberated from the Valley of the Gods, just to be imprisoned in Impel Down. Su Mu was surprised, then sneered. The news that Morgans told himself was clearly what the world government deliberately asked Morgans to tell him. This is a trap set by the world government to lure Su Mu. They deliberately set a trap, waiting for Su Mu to fall into the trap. Because, the world government concluded, Su Mu must go. Haha, Longtan and Tiger's Lair, is it a mountain of swords and a sea of fire? So what? It doesn't matter if I just go for a walk, world government, don't underestimate my determination. Su Mu's face was gloomy, and she had infinite murderous intentions in her heart. Chapter 98 Morgans Take the Bait, World Government Airstrike. Advertise here. The sudden news from Morgans made Su Mu both excited and extremely angry. In other words, his big brother Ming Huang is still alive. This news, only Rox knows. Or does the world government actually know about it, but deliberately spread the news through Rox? Even, Ming Huang was originally in the hands of the world government. This possibility is even greater. Why didn't the world government kill him for hundreds of years? How did they keep Ming Huang alive? Frozen. Or special means? Why are they throwing this bait now? Is it just to seduce yourself? Or is Ming Huang's value already used up? They didn't dare to release Ming Huang directly, but passed it through Rox. Does it mean that Ming Huang is more difficult to control than Rox? Many doubts lingered in Su Mu's mind, which made him unable to figure it out for a while. He knew that he had to go to Impel Down again and confront Rox face to face before he could know the exact truth. But, is Rox really alive? Is he still the original him? Impel Down, the Dragon's Pool and Tiger's Lair, is probably much stronger than the previous defense. The world government has laid a trap, waiting for Su Mu to jump into it. The pressure was too much, Su Mu felt tense like never before. He can't be impulsive, he has to be careful every step of the way, as long as he makes a wrong step, he will probably fail completely. Because, the world government is too scary, and there are countless ways to deal with him. So what if he has the ability to resurrect? They will capture and seal themselves in special ways, and even freeze their resurrection ability, making themselves helpless. Falling into the hands of the world government is tantamount to declaring coolness. Su Mu shook his head, temporarily throwing away the doubts and pressure in his mind. It doesn't make much sense to think too much, all he has to do now is to grab Rox in his hands. Morgans, is your news reliable? Su Mu asked lightly. Absolutely reliable, absolutely true. Rox is alive, and he knows that the news that Ming Huang is alive is 100% true. Morgans responded hastily. Very well, you did a good job this time. Su Mu sat on the rock again, and smiled at Morgans. We have been cooperating for several months, and it has always been a win-win situation. I, Su Mu, can have today's power, thanks to the information you provided. Let's do this. When I defeat Naval Headquarters, there will be a celebration banquet, and I invite you to come and participate. What do you think? Morgans frowned, and carefully refused. We each get what we need, and I should be the one to thank you. I won't participate in the celebration party, and I would like to thank Master Su Mu for his kindness. Su Mu sneered inwardly. Morgans is still very cautious. That's a pity. I seem to have a few good things here that I want to give you. For example, a special genetic modification potion. You can have an extra devil fruit after eating it. For example, a phantom beast bird devil fruit. Su Mu said with a sigh. What? Morgan's eyes widened instantly. This is a peerless baby. He knows that Su Mu has multiple abilities and can eat multiple devil fruits, which is the root of his strength. It's perfectly normal for him to have a genetic potion that still needs his body. And all along, he felt that his fruit ability was a bit weak and his combat effectiveness was not strong. If you can eat another devil fruit, especially the phantom beasts, each one is extremely powerful. Master Su Mu, do you really want to send me off? Morgan stammered and asked. Of course. Su Mu replied affirmatively. Then, Master Su Mu, can you mail it to me? I'll let Newsbird carry it back. Morgans rolled his eyes slyly, thinking of the express delivery method. He dared not face Su Mu face to face. No problem. The things are already on me, and you can ask the Newsbird to come and get them in a while. Su Mu answered very simply. Morgans finally couldn't resist the temptation. Hooked. Regardless of whether he comes or not, Newsbird will deliver the devil fruit and potion to him in person. In doing so, his mysterious hiding place was exposed. Su Mu, just follow Newsbird to meet Morgans. At that time, a loyal subordinate has arrived again. Okay, thank you Lord Su Mu. Morgans rubbed his hands excitedly, wishing he could get the treasure right away. Su Mu hung up the phone, and deliberately followed the aftermath of the battle to kill the high-altitude Morgans live broadcast equipment and the Newsbird, so that he could no longer see the situation here. Immediately afterwards, he casually prepared a bottle of green potion, got a dragon fruit from the pirate ship Resurrection, and disguised it as a devil fruit. After the preparations are complete, just wait for the Newsbird to arrive. He seems to be on the battlefield. The battle between the Avengers and Naval Headquarters is still in full swing, occupying an absolute advantage. Golden Lion repaired the trauma, and even reversed his physical condition to almost 90% of his peak. He became more arrogant and stronger. His opponent, Sengoku, had an arm cut off by Su Mu, and his strength was damaged by 20%. He was no longer the opponent of Golden Lion, and was suppressed by Golden Lion. But for a powerhouse of this level, it will take at least one day to end the battle. Rayleigh and Kizaru are still fencing, lol. Kizaru is always unhurried, looking fierce, but in fact he is not desperate. Even Marine is in a meltdown. He didn't work hard either. Kizaru, if you don't work hard, the Marine elite will probably lose more than half of it. Rayleigh teased. Yoli, even if I try my best, it won't help, you guys are too scary. Kizaru sighed helplessly with the lightsaber in his hand. He looked at the ground, to be precise, at the depth of the huge crack that divided Marineford in two, and groaned in his heart. Ace is evenly matched with Momonosuke, who has grown to the level of Marine Alternate Admiral. The current him is definitely the strongest among the Vice Emperors. The battle between Hawkeye and Fujitora is more dangerous. Fujitora's ability makes Hawkeye have to go all out. In many cases, he is more embarrassed than Fujitora. Gravity is invisible, colorless, everywhere, and the direction can be controlled by Fujitora arbitrarily, which is really hard to guard against. As for Whitebeard and Garp, the two have already stayed away from the crowd, otherwise the aftermath of their battle will definitely bring disaster to others, and even sink Marineford faster. Zephyr, Marco and others have an overwhelming advantage over Marine Vice Admiral and elites. As for Moria, when Su Mu only saw him, this huge guy excitedly chose the crane he thought was the weakest, but it turned out to be a tragedy. The chubby man, like a thin piece of human skin, was caught by clothespins and hung up to dry like a huge piece of clothing. Hee hee. In response, Su Mu could only chuckle, and extended his silent tribute to Moria. This guy has really vicious eyes. Everyone is invincible, only he has successfully avoided all favorable options. Su Mu almost couldn't help laughing, at this moment. He frowned suddenly. He looked up quickly. Looking towards the end of the sky, there is a black cloud-like thing coming at a high speed, accompanied by a loud roar. The reinforcements from the world government came so quickly. It seems, is it? Su Mu finally saw what the black mass was. It was a group of fighter jets. World government's air force is here. They are going to launch an air strike against the Avengers. Ask for a comment and a gift, thank you. Chapter 99 Repelling the Air Force Bombing, the pirate ship upgrades to LV-4. Advertise here. The world government's air force was dispatched, which caught Su Mu by surprise. Because in the original plot, the air force is far from being involved. Now, the Marine can't handle it, and the world government sends the air force. Su Mu saw that there were at least 20 black fighter planes. Each fighter plane is equipped with 2 launch tubes for guided artillery shells. This is an attack fighter, and the shells seem to be more powerful than those of Marine warships. The fighter plane flew from a distance at a very high speed, and it was estimated that it would take less than a minute to reach it. Everyone, retreat to the east. Sengoku shouted at the entire battlefield. He had already known about the world government's reinforcements, and now seeing the fighter planes appearing from the east, he hurriedly made a decision. This is to increase the distance between Marine and the Avengers, so that the fighters of the world government can distinguish attacks, so as to prevent Marine from being accidentally injured. Newgate, come back, the world government's air force is here. Su Mu also reminded on the resurrection. After all, the guided missiles of the fighter plane are so powerful that even a strong man like Whitebeard will be hurt. What's more, there are 20 fighters attacking from the sky, making it impossible to guard against. Rumble. While talking, the fighter plane had already arrived, and shells shot down from the fighter plane, and exploded towards the square. Immediately, the entire marine square was filled with flames, thick smoke billowing, screams and roars were heard endlessly. Bastard, the marine elite haven't retreated yet. Sengoku yelled. The bombardment of the world government is indiscriminate, and even the marines are within the shooting range. Everyone in the Avengers Alliance is strong, relying on their knowledge and various means, they are constantly avoiding fighters. But marine elites are miserable. Boom boom boom. The shelling never stopped. Another round, marine elites and beasts are all targets. How dare you bomb my beast? Golden Lion's eyes were cold. He flew straight into the sky and rushed towards a fighter plane. However, the jet was moving too fast, heading straight away from the Golden Lion, and kept shooting him with cannonballs. Do you really think I can't kill you? Golden Lion became ruthless, swinging his legs, and shouted, Lion, Thousand Slice Valley. One after another, the slashes rushed towards the fighter plane. Cut the cannonballs apart and explode in midair. The slashes continued, and the fighter planes were drowned in the blink of an eye. Boom. A violent explosion sounded, and the fighter plane exploded in the air, and the flames were overwhelming. Golden Lion directly killed a fighter plane. Kulalala. Shiki, it's really good. Whitebeard laughed, his fists raised, his shock power blooming, and he punched the air. Boom. Another fighter was directly bombed. Seeing this situation, the world government's Air Force commander quickly issued an order to adjust the height of the fighter planes so that they were almost deep into the clouds. In this way, Whitebeard and others on the ground cannot threaten them, and even the flying Golden Lion dare not chase them rashly. Otherwise, he will become the target of all fighters, and it is impossible for one person to break through. Boom boom boom. One after another, the shells continued to fall and exploded on Marineford Island, killing and injuring the beasts and marine elites. Bastards, are they crazy? Sengoku yelled, furious. The world government didn't care about Marines' life or death, and directly bombarded them indiscriminately, causing the marine elites to suffer badly enough. Shiki, call back your fierce beast, don't make unnecessary sacrifices. Su Mu gave the order. The Golden Lion also had this intention, and directly slapped the ground, lifting up a quarter of Marineford's island abruptly. A special call was issued, and the 5,000 ferocious beasts remaining in the square immediately stopped attacking and gathered towards the location of the Golden Lion. Everyone, come back, Su Mu gave the order. He knew very well that this war was coming to an end. The arrival of the world government's air force is to leave an escape route for Marine. However, their indiscriminate attacks are indeed ruthless. As for the threat to the Avengers, not too big. Each of them has a strong sense of knowledge, able to dodge in advance, and it is not a target to stand still for them to bombard. Of course, slow-moving people may still be very embarrassed. Such as Moria, Zephyr, Hawkeye, Rayleigh and others. Su Mu gave the order, and they quickly exited and returned to the resurrection. Su Mu controlled the resurrection, and drove quickly from the right and wrong place, rushing directly into the sea where the Marineford Island was. Boom boom boom. Marine's air force is still pursuing, and the artillery shells high in the clouds are attacking the resurrection intensively. Moria, Lousy has a great job for you. Su Mu called to Moria, put his hand on his head, and directly taught him how to operate the cannon on the pirate ship Resurrection. Haha, it's my turn. Moria's eyes glowed, and she laughed. Through the information passed to him by Su Mu, he knew that the bombardment power of the Resurrection pirate ship was enormous, even greater than that of the world government air force. Looking at the shells falling from the sky, Su Mu swung his saber, and countless lights from the flowing sword sprinkled into the sky, filling the space within a kilometer above the Resurrection. Bang bang bang. The shells exploded directly in the sky. However, the huge aftermath caused the Resurrection to shake violently in the sea, and everyone was also surging with blood, which was very uncomfortable. But now, the Resurrection is the target, with a huge size, Su Mu is not as fast as the fighter. And they blocked the shells and let them explode in midair, and the distance was only 1,000 meters, but the violent explosion still had an impact on them. It's nothing, it's just that everyone feels aggrieved that they were chased and beaten by the world government. Moria, are you alright? Want me to come in person? Su Mu said coldly. Okay, look at mine. Moria slapped the cannon barrel, and a dozen huge shells rushed out and exploded among the clouds like a small mushroom cloud. However, while powerful, the accuracy was poor. Not a single fighter was bombed at all. In the sky, the fighters quickly distanced themselves and spread out, making it harder for Moria to aim. Alas, This is not your major. Su Mu walks up to a cannon, observation hockey extends. Lock on a fighter plane, tap it, and a cannon blasts out. Boom. In the sky, a fighter plane exploded. Snapped. Su Mu did the same, and another fighter plane exploded. At this time, 2 fighter planes were lost, and the world government's fighter plane group quickly withdrew, and they did not pursue the resurrection, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. After all, fighter planes have been bombarding, several times stronger than Buster Call, and the pressure is still huge. Ding. Subdue the Golden Lion and reward 15 resurrection points. Ding. Sign in on the World Government Air Force fighter plane. Speed +8, strength +8, physical strength +8, combat awareness +8, an extra bottle of devil fruit lifting liquid applicable to advanced level and below, reward 40 resurrection points, reward a humanoid shield. The voice of the system sounded in Su Mu's mind, and there was a reward for signing in. There are also points that Golden Lion gets on board. What moved Su Mu the most was the extra 40 points for signing in. He just already has 25 points, plus the current rewards, a total of 80 points. The Resurrection pirate ship needs 30 points from LV2 to LV3, and 50 points from LV3 to LV4. Now, it happens that the Resurrection number can be upgraded to LV4. And the Resurrection pirate ship has reached LV4, which is capable of amphibious warfare on land, sea and air, as well as diving, and can also open the protective cover, both offensive and defensive. Use the Resurrection points to upgrade the resurrected pirate ship to level 4. Su Mu issued a decision. Ding. 80 resurrection points are consumed, the pirate ship resurrection is being upgraded. Chapter 100C, Land and Air Amphibious Pirate Ship, Kill Morgans. Advertise here. Following the reminder from the system, the pirate ship resurrection officially launched the upgrade. As the bombing of the World Government Air Force fighter planes went away, the people who had just stood firm shook violently again. Everyone was shocked to find that the pirate ship resurrection was changing rapidly. The length is getting longer and longer. The thickness is getting thicker and thicker. All kinds of columns are getting thicker and thicker. The overall size is getting bigger and bigger, directly expanding to double. It's just a size change. On each floor, everyone found that the second floor had directly increased to 12 rooms on the basis of the original 3 rooms. The small pink rooms on the first floor have also increased to 8. In addition, the training room and healing room have also been expanded a lot, and the entertainment facilities outside have also been enlarged accordingly, and areas such as beaches have been added. This is not a pirate ship, it is clearly a giant cruise ship. The current Resurrection pirate ship is already comparable to Moria's Island pirate ship. Of course, the material is completely different. In Su Mu's mind, a series of voices from the system continued to sound. It's all about the features that the pirate ship has when it's upgraded to LV4. Ding. The Resurrection has been upgraded to LV4, unlocking the protective cover function, which can effectively resist Buster Call and below shelling. Ding. The Resurrection number has been upgraded to LV4, unlocking the diving function, and using the protective cover to realize underwater diving and sailing. Ding. The Resurrection number has been upgraded to LV4, and the flight function is unlocked. The Resurrection number can fly in the sky, and the speed is currently comparable to the speed of a world government fighter plane. Ding. The Resurrection number has been upgraded to LV4, and the stealth function is unlocked. You can be invisible while flying, sailing, and diving. However, if you want to attack, you must remove the stealth state. When you turn on the protective cover function, you must remove the stealth state. Ding. The Resurrection number has been upgraded to LV4, and the ratio of training indoor time to external time is 10:1. The treatment room can achieve full-body physical restoration, including the regeneration of broken arms and limbs. Ding. The Resurrection number is upgraded to LV4, unlocking a cannon with dimensional attack energy, which can fire a dimensional energy cannon once a week. After digesting the system news, Su Mu was overjoyed. The Resurrection number has been upgraded to LV4, the function is really too powerful. Not only can it be used for marine amphibious combat, but it can also be invisible, and it can also open the protective cover for defense. In addition, there are various functional upgrades. The training room can quickly cultivate strong people. 1 day of training inside is equivalent to 10 days outside. The most important thing is that there are all kinds of training equipment and puppets in the training room, and the training effect is definitely more than 10 times that of the outside world. The existence of the healing room can directly make everyone fearless of harm. As long as they don't die in one hit, they can recover completely in the healing room. These are unimaginable to outsiders. However, this bun level function is actually only at level 4. If you upgrade to LV5 in the future, what functions will even LV9 have? Is it possible to realize the function of traveling through dimensions? Can it be transmitted and can open a wormhole? Su Mu can't imagine it, and she can't imagine it at all, so let the readers think about it. After the change of the resurrection stopped, everyone looked at Su Mu in shock, waiting for his explanation. Ahem. Resurrection also needs to grow up. At present, it is considered to be the stage of a girl. Su Mu's words were greeted with blank eyes by everyone. This guy's joking is too nonsense. The resurrection is just a pirate ship, and it's not a living life. What do you want to grow? In this regard, Su Mu could only smile awkwardly. Even he doesn't know what state the resurrection is in, but in his heart, he seems to have felt that the resurrection seems to have autonomous consciousness, just like the Sunny of the Straw Hat Pirates. Seeing the resurrection, many new gadgets appeared, especially the bar. Although there is no staff such as the Wine Sister, it has endless wine. Whitebeard, Zephyr, Rayleigh and other old guys are the favorites. There is also a beach. There is always a small ocean with a radius of less than 100 meters on the deck. Monet and Ian went to play in swimsuits. Of course, there are other special entertainment venues. Ace took Hawkeye to KRV to experience the acoustic singing of big stars. Of course, most of the time, it's just Ace singing passionately, and Hawkeye is also rubbing the black knife in his hand. Moria went to the casino, but there was no one there, so he could only play by himself. If Marine Admiral Fujitora was there, he would definitely like it. Su-Mu rolled his eyes, and this was what attracted Fujitora. Moreover, Su-Mu found out that the owner of the casino is himself, and he has at least 10 billion Baileys in it. Damn, can it still be like this? Su-Mu swears directly. This frankly made me a billionaire. This may allow Su-Mu to offer more wages and allow Kizaru to be an employee. Of course, this is just a bad taste in Su-Mu's heart. Marine Admiral, why would you betray Marine because of the sugar-coated bullets? Su-Mu, what is this? It's so exciting. Aokiji's voice came, with inexplicable excitement. For a lazy person like him, it's really hard to see him so excited. Su-Mu walked over. It was an arena. Aokiji was riding on a bicycle with a new technological concept, wearing a high-tech sensor experience helmet on his head, and in his mind was a future world and new experience that he had never seen before. It's too amazing to believe. I would like to keep. Aokiji sighed sincerely. Su-Mu, he just said that Marine Admiral will not change himself because of external things, and now Aokiji's performance seems to be a little slapped in the face. At this time, a news bird flew over and landed beside Su-Mu with a small bag on his back. Su-Mu understands that this is Morgan's news bird, here to collect devil fruit and gene potion. Su-Mu didn't hesitate, and directly handed the genetic potion and dragon fruit disguised devil fruit prepared in advance to Newsbird, and put them into its backpack. The news bird spread its wings and took off, disappearing into the sky. Su-Mu went to the beach, lay down under the rocking chair, squinted her eyes, admiring the magnificence and youthful beauty of Monet and Ain. An hour later, Su-Mu got up. Aokiji, you guys play, I'll go out for a while. Su-Mu informed Aokiji and others, and then the demon wings behind him spread out, using the space ability to hide, and rushed directly to the sky, and caught up with Newsbird after a while, and saw Morgan's half an hour later. Morgan's got the gene potion and devil fruit, trembling all over, excited to the point of incoherence. Morgans, today is my day. From now on, the sky will fly like a bird, Lousy will become a nobleman in the world, and even the world government will fawn on Lousy, let alone Su-Mu, an upstart. It can be seen that Morgans is still afraid of the world government in his heart, but he has contempt for Su-Mu. Although he knew that Su-Mu had special abilities and great strength, out of jealousy and inner arrogance, he would still reveal his original thoughts when no one was around. Upstart. This title seems very appropriate. Su-Mu's voice rang in Morgan's ears, and he was so startled that his feathers stood on end, like falling into an ice house. Su-Mu, Your Excellency, why are you here? Morgans was terrified. Call out. A white sword light suddenly appeared on Morgan's neck, causing his head to fall to the ground. You talk too much nonsense, and I'm too lazy to watch your shock, panic, begging for mercy, begging, etc. A series of actions. Su-Mu appeared, looked at Morgans who was decapitated under his feet, and said coldly.